And Carmella, you're a burping gutter slut. You guys, I'm gonna come down on all of you.
Ow! Ruthless aggression.
It's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. A predator smell fear, I smell a lot. My competitors fled scared. They smelled I was hot. I want it all. Excess, the sex, and much success. Stress us. I want it all, no less. So come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 60 of the RA Era podcast, the only place where we decipher and dictate the era that rose out of the ashes of Attitude and delivered us the holy white wedding of Kane and Lita, as it's time to unicycle towards our next pay-per-view, Unforgiven 2004. As always, I am Dave, and joining me for this unicycle, can you actually unicycle? It's Big Sexy Michael Ragg, because I can't.
I really can't.
I think I always remember.
Bike. It's been that long since I rode a bike. I don't think I still can.
I'm alright on a bike, but yeah, unicycle. I always remember years ago, years and years back. It was like at this youth club or whatever I used to go to when I was a kid. They had like these jugglers or whatever come down, and I'm sure there was a couple of unicycles, and I jumped on, and yeah, I don't have that sort of balance. But
I remember at school there was a guy who teaches the unicycle.
Oh, it's a skill. I think it's a very, because there's various things that are going off on your body when you're trying to unicycle. But anyway, SummerSlam. We're on the back of SummerSlam, which was
The Summer Games.
The Summer Games, which was a massive pay-per-view, highly enjoyable pay-per-view as well.
It was.
I think both Raw and Smackdown, they've got various things that they can kind of come out of SummerSlam going forward and keep the momentum going. Other stuff, it's going to be interesting, like John Cena and Booker T with the best of 5. Are we going to see a big chunk of that in the next 4 weeks? And I like that it's 4 weeks. It's a nice solid don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the week between pay-per-views, but it's a nice solid 4 weeks between pay-per-views, which is enough time for both rosters to build up. Well, obviously Raw, because they're building up towards Unforgiven, but SmackDown, it's time to get some new storylines possibly going forward and progress towards their next pay-per-view, which is No Mercy. So, as always, Michael, what you look forward to, what you're hoping to get out of the upcoming 4 weeks?
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing on Raw what our brand new World Heavyweight Champion has got to say about his historic victory for the pay-per-view.
Historic, the youngest ever World Heavyweight Champion. Well, saying that, let's get right into it. It is WWE Monday Night Raw, August the 16th, 2004. Lillian Garcia, she brings out the new world champion Randy Orton with his beautiful pyro waterfall. We get balloons and confetti that fall into the arena.
Talk about the golden shower.
That was my exact thoughts. Even though the balloons, they kind of only hit half of the arena and they stop, and like fans kind of have to keep the balloons going to make it look like they're falling. But the confetti, on the other hand, that sticks around for the entire evening. Everyone gets covered. Everyone, no staffers at all. Everybody gets covered in Randy Orton's confetti as the night go on. We got very mixed reaction from the crowd. I think the handshake last night at SummerSlam with Benoit helped. Because you're now getting maybe 20% of the crowd are actually now behind Randy Orton. And when he's proper giving it the big one and he's giving it, I'm the new champ, baby, there is a lot of the crowd that's cheering it and going, yeah, you're the new champ, motherfucker. They're loving it. So, I don't know, before you even know what's going to happen at the end of the show, there's all these tiny little, it's there in it with the babyface turn. It's just waiting to happen. Just fingers crossed it doesn't go the Rocky Maivia way.
The way they wanted Roman to go.
No, not the way that Roman went. Apart from Roman now as a heel is a badass. But yeah, the way they wanted him to go, it's superstardom, absolute superstardom. Orton, he has to see all the 24-year-olds in the audience, and Lawler rightly comments that there seems to be quite a lot of 24-year-olds. So he's like, come on, I want to see everyone stand up who's 24, and about 50% of the audience fucking stands up.
Half of them about 40, let alone 24.
He goes, right, take your tops off. I want to see the rest of it. I want to see what the body of the 24-year-old modern man looks like. And about 3 of them go for it and start swinging the t-shirts around, fucking loving life.
I'm sure they won't look like you and all.
But no, that Mr. Muscle guy that started getting it the Hulk Hogan.
No, I mean the skinny ginger guy with glasses.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, he give it the Hulk Hogan fucking bicep curl. He reminded me a bit more of Mr. Muscle. Out comes Benoit though, and he informs Randy Orton that he is cashing in his rematch clause tonight, and the SummerSlam rematch is on. Our opening contest, Rhino with Tajiri going up against Sylvan with Big Rob.
If one half of the Buzzcore Express win, they get a tag title shot at Unforgiven. But if one of the Bellends win, then they can't challenge for the tag straps again.
This is only going to go one way.
It has to.
Do you know what really tickles me? And it's one of those where, I don't know if you noticed, we had a little post on social media the other day about favourite referees. And it was lovely to see some of the comments and some of the old refs that, like the love for Charles Robinson is so strong on the Ruthless Universe. It's ridiculous.
Everyone was little Nate.
Everyone. But I did love the fact that Charles Robinson himself even commented and saying that he loved Jack Doan. I'm like, yeah! Because Jack Doan...
What's up?
I think for us, Jack Doan, it's more because of the Hunter Games, which, if you want to support the show, even though all our episodes of Hunter Games are going to be free throughout forever, it seems at the minute with this fucking corona. Basically, until me and Mike can sit together again in a room and record. Like, we're recording this on Sunday, and it looks like tomorrow Boris is going to deliver another thing, and I'm very close to an area where it's not looking so good. I live just outside of Leeds, and Mike's in Sheffield, and Sheffield's universities, it's not looking good at all, is it? So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So, but anyway, yeah, over on Patreon with the Hunter Games, Jack Doan is a staple. He seems to always be fucking there, and he's deaf, he's blind,
but he's still there.
But
he's still there to this day.
But it's brilliant, and yeah. So we had a little post about the refs. It was great to see some of the love, especially except for Charles Robinson. Oh my god! But an assist from Tajiri and Jack Doan. Again, are we deaf? Are we blind? Are we dumb? Because Tajiri spits the mist into Sylvan. Rhino gets the victory. Jack surely could have not seen that A, Sylvan's got green eyes, and B, Tajiri's got a green face, and not put two and two together and come up with 80,000.
Well,
but anyway, Rhino and Tajiri, Buzzcore Express, are off to Unforgiven to battle for the tag titles.
The first match announced for the next pay-per-view on the Raw after the pay-per-view.
Are you hyped for Unforgiven?
Right now, no. I don't want to see Robert and Sylvia versus Todgers and Rhino again.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. I hope it's tag titles on a pole or something like that.
Because it's going to keep continuing until Unforgiven.
A tables match. It needs
These four guys are going to be together till Unforgiven.
We're going to get one-on-ones. Oh, that's definitely going to happen. JR and Jerry, they discussed the happenings of Lita and Kane from SummerSlam, and this leads us to a video package wedding invitation for the marriage of Kane and Lita, which will happen next week on Monday Night Raw. A wedding on Raw. What could possibly go wrong?
That's going to go.
And the last wedding that we saw, Michael, Billy and Chuck on SmackDown.
That only lasted about 3 minutes.
Hey! Jerry, though, he believes in 25 years' time he's going to be sat there with another broadcast partner, and then Kane and Lita will be celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. JR fucking hates it. Fucking King, fucking.
JR's not even on Raw in 10 years, let alone 5.
And Jerry's still a chance he'll be on it now.
He's still actually had time now, though.
He still pops up every now and again for a perv. This leads to Coach. He tries to interview Lita backstage, but she fucks him off and walks into a dark woman's locker room, flicks on the light. Surprise, motherfucker. The heel divas are throwing a bridal shower, and we get presents. Molly, well, Lita, since you like to sleep around, here's some birth control and some Johnnies, and they all go, Trojan, man! Gail, she's got a picture of the first kiss and then a picture of the baby. She's like, look, one of his eyes is Kane's and one of them's is yours. Lita, she fucks off in disgust after the final present that Jazz gives her, a big red machine of her own, a fucking dildo. Vibrating
it's
in
just
a
a vibrating box. We don't know it's a dildo. It's implied that it's a dildo. Could be an electric razor, you know.
For those lonely nights.
Reminding Lita, you got to keep it fresh down there.
So Lita fucks off in disgust. Trish follows her out of the locker room. Victoria, though, walks up. Great job at Diva Dodgeball. Who's your coach? Stevie Wonder. Victoria.
Even Stevie
boom.
saw them balls coming.
Slap to Victoria. And then we cut to a vignette for the return of the Heartbreak Kid. Finally coming back after Kane nearly broke his trachea and fucking nearly killed him.
I wonder
What feels like
go
months
for?
ago. Kane.
That'd be the obvious
theory.
choice. But it's to be agreed.
Non-obvious. Maven. A heel Shawn Michaels. That'd be something different.
Especially
I'm
in
not
this day
saying
and age.
I'm not saying join Evolution or Triple H or something like that. Become his own heel in his own storyline with somebody else on Raw.
He does in a bit, sort of, technically.
Spoiler alert.
Brother.
Michael, Divas action time. Victoria versus Gail Kim. Widow's Peak gets the win for Victoria. What did you make to our weekly Divas match?
Well, why was Gail billed from Korea when she's actually from Toronto? They're in Toronto, and you could easily just get some cheap pop.
Because
They
Kevin,
Toronto, Canada.
Kevin, she's a Jap, Kevin. No, but Vince, she's from Korea. Kevin, she's a Jap. That's why. That's exactly why.
But that Widow's Peak took far too long to set up.
Yes, it did. It did take a long time to set up, but it's still a lovely finisher. I'm surprised it's never been picked up by a fella.
It will look a lot more devastating, I think.
Yeah,
But that's
possibly.
what I liked about the octopus stretch from Gail.
It's a nasty finisher, that, because it pulls all sorts of different muscles.
But it always looks better when a small woman's doing it. Like a Gail Kim or AJ Lee or Sasha Banks.
Oh, it would look great for Brock Lesnar trying to apply it to like a Christian. Here comes Trish and Tonkodo, and then that woman runs in for the save. And the second that Jerry and JR ask who the woman is, we a fan will come over the mic and go, Stevie Richards! It's like giving the game away to everybody sat at home. But JR, it's weird because JR and Jerry Lawler, as the weeks go on, they still play the I'm half oblivious, but yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah, but even to say it's Lita, just because Steve's got red hair now. Like, oh, it's Lita. So there's only one woman in the world with red hair.
Yeah, and she's getting married to the Big Red Machine. Speaking of the Big Red Machine, up next, Kane versus Edge for the IC title.
I love that the confetti was still coming down during Kane's entrance.
Oh, it's everywhere.
So
Kane's a confetti magnet, and he gets covered in it as this match goes on.
But with the red, it looks amazing.
Oh, definitely.
You're like it raining fire.
Pregnant Lita, she comes out, and Jerry comments on how she's starting to show. And JR goes, no, she's not, King, leave her alone. Well, if we're going with the fact that she's pregnant, surely JR should be agreeing with Jerry.
Or just saying like, oh, she looks glowing.
Yeah, she's looking good for a pregnant woman.
But she's
Jerry,
definitely not showing.
Will you stop? We get a ref bump. Everyone's covered in Randy's confetti. Kane goes for a choke slam. Here comes Matt Hardy. Twist of fate. Big spear from Edge, and Edge retains. Lita loving life, but Kane is not happy. He drags Lita into the ring and tells her he doesn't mind though, because next week they're getting wed, and then I'm gonna bang.
I just love how King was just more concerned that the wedding gift, as he kept calling the IC title, was null and void now.
Well, there seems to be a lot of wedding gifts. It comes up over the next couple of weeks as well, because Lita, we get a wedding gift from Bischoff, but also then Lita says it's a double wedding gift, and I've got a gift for you. And there's a lot of gifts for this wedding. Look at them. They've done so well. They get so many gifts.
If Kane would have won this match, that could have been Lita's something new.
Hey.
The IC title.
Yay, very nice. But that WWE aren't that fucking clever. Aren't that clever. Michael, Diva Bollocks time. Earlier today, the Divas were asked who they would vote off if they could and why, and every single one of them dicked on Carmella. Mainly because she missed the dodgeball because she had other things to do.
And she didn't want to be there.
Like when we commented on SummerSlam, we were like, well, there were rumours that a Diva were leaving the show, and then Coach kept speaking about getting a Diva that had been kicked off, but it was weird because Carmella's still here now.
Yeah.
Like when we spoke on SummerSlam, it was how they were portraying it, that how Coach was saying it, that a Diva had gone. But oh no, Oh, cum bucket herself is back in the arena.
And she votes off Joy because Joy's technically a MILF.
Well, that seems to be her angle with her. How dare you do the things you do because you're a mum? She's a fucking MILF and a half. Michael, who's getting eliminated tonight? Drum roll, please. Michelle McTaker has been eliminated.
I hope she goes on to do something good with the opportunity that she's had.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Up next, Y2J versus the Animal Batista with Ric Flair. Flair, he ends up getting involved. Edge comes out for the save, or does he? And he returns the favour from Jericho, leaving him hanging before SummerSlam as he walks away and leaves him to get battered by Evolution. So going forward, we can see where this is going for the IC title. Y2J versus Edge. IC title on a pole.
That would be good. But Edge, he's not the dickhead here. He's just turnabout's fair play.
Well, that's it. I do to you what you did to me.
Why have your music playing, then doing a running?
Because the shock factor. Because everyone's got to have the music played for doing a running. That's the WWE law.
You're stopping the guys who are doing the beatdown doing the beatdown. Because they're like, oh, who's this?
Double turn, motherfucker. It's got to be done. It's got Vince Russo booking 101. I can't explain
I'm nothing against
but I like it.
But do it without the music.
Well, we
the
say
crowd
that time
reaction
and time
alone
again.
is like the people watching it on TV. That lets them know that there's someone coming down.
There's so many throughout the years that you could say just do it without the music and it makes so big an impact, but that's just wrestling.
Like
It's
Vincent
always gonna
Mania
be
17,
like that.
if he'd have come out with his music playing, during Rock Austin.
Well, I'll give you one. Imagine Invasion, but I think it was the last SmackDown before the Invasion pay-per-view, where Vince wants the old Stone Cold, and he finds him in the pub, and he comes back, and he batters everyone in the parking lot, and he comes to the arena, and then the music hits, and all the Alliance shit themselves. Imagine that happening without the music hitting.
Okay, I'll give you that one. That was a bigger moment than this.
Than this. Michael, Diva Search time. The coach, he brings out the Divas to dance in one of the many themes, it seems. The Diva Search has got so many different fucking theme tunes.
You got the
Every week
Hive,
it's a different
you
track.
got Old Bridge, you got...
The Old Bridge track, as we spoke about before, is the best track. But the Hives track isn't bad neither, to be fair. It's not a bad set of tracks that they've got for, and well, they go through them in a couple of weeks. Thank you to these, thank you to them, thank you to these. It's like so many tracks for one fucking TV show. But to be fair, Michael, we've got divas in bikinis dancing on the stage. That's good shit, pal.
And the only one who gets a reaction is Carmella, and it's just a chorus of fucking boos.
They do not like her. The thing is, fans read the dirt sheets in 2004, and the dirt sheets, as we spoke about many weeks ago at the start of this, the WWE, and especially Vince, they've pinpointed Carmella because of Playboy and shit like that to win this. And she's the one that's getting paid to do this. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why. A, the divas don't like her, they're not divas even, don't like her. But B, why the fans don't? Because it's the Roman Reigns effect. Don't tell us what we want to like. We want to like what we want to like.
Yeah.
And we don't like Carmella. And even not divas.
Like, I like cider, you don't like cider.
That's it. We get more Lita and Kane stuff as Jerry pretends to cry about the invitation. And then we go backstage with Orton and Hunter. Hunter goes, you be Randy Orton and let Evolution look after the rest. Evolution is the solution.
Awesome
and with 25 minutes left on the show, it is time for your main event. The World Heavyweight title is Randy Orton versus Chris Benoit.
Benoit
there you go. Blind as a bat, deaf as a coot. Benoit with a crossface, but here comes Evolution. Big RKO, and Randy retains. But before we get into the aftermath, Michael, what did you make to our main event? 25 minutes. So we said at the start we were hoping to get a good solid 20 minutes. We got exactly that. What did you make then? What were your highlights of Randy versus Benoit, the rematch?
Great match. Did you see the superplex? Did you see what both guys did after the superplex? They sold. Say what you want, but seeing people not sell moves like the superplex can lower the standard of a match.
I think it's any move, isn't it? Really, apart from like a body slam or an arm drag and stuff like that. But I think you've got to sell every move, and the harder the move, like a superplex, which they build up. It doesn't matter who's in the ring; they always build it up as a massive move,
It should be a big move
at a
to
big
watch it.
spot. Yeah, you should have to sell for that extra additional couple of seconds. But no, I thought it was a great run out for Benoit. Benoit's still over like Rover. I know we're in Canada, but he's still over like fuck. But yeah, it was a great match. Great retain for Randy Orton.
It
But
only takes one RKO.
that is it, and that's how it should be. But as I said before, we get into the aftermath of this match is the talking point. It's a very sad time.
Yes.
Very sad time. As the boys come out, they beat on Benoit. We celebrate with Randy. They lift Randy up into the air. Triple H puts the thumbs up.
Big smile.
You're the man. Drops the thumbs, says now. Batista drops back, and they kick the piss out of Randy Orton. Evolution has now become a free man.
Look at, get on camera the face of those Canadians. Let them see what a real champion looks like. There you go, Batista. Boy, JR, wait till next week in Anaheim when Randy Orton walks that aisle as the World Heavyweight Champion. What a celebration that'll be. Back in the good old US of A.
It was a nice ride.
It was. But why?
Why?
You know that
Because
meme, that top 10
Randy
anime
Orton's-
betrayals? This. Number one. Right here.
Randy Orton's face run is fucking terrible at this stage. Right. I'm hoping that it gives me a different perspective being an adult now and looking back and watching it. I really do. I hope I enjoy it. But what I remember, this original run as a face was rocking my ear levels. But Michael, what did you make then overall to Monday Night Raw, opening episode from SummerSlam, and how many Mavens?
For a show directly after a pay-per-view, I really enjoyed it. Usually the Raw after a pay-per-view is usually, to be fair, a bag of wank. Usually.
Very true.
This was a nice change. Started off great segment with Orton. Ended off with the finish was just so memorable. That's what makes it good.
Yes, I think that's what you remember. It's one of them iconic moments from the whole of the Evolution, the history of Evolution. Yeah, everyone thinks straight away, oh, the turn on Orton. Yeah, the turn on Orton. It's absolutely. Now, how many Mavens then for Monday Night Raw?
Probably about 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. I'm going to give him a 2. Only it wasn't amazing. The main event, like we just said then, the main event match, it's never remembered for Benoit versus Orton. It's remembered for what happens in the aftermath.
No, I forgot there was a rematch tonight.
Yeah, but it wasn't the most exciting episodes of Monday Night Raw, but I'll give it a 2. Out of the 4, this is the worst one for me. It gets better from here, and it gets a whole lot better next week. And then the week after, and the week after that. Michael! World Wrestling Entertainment press release. WWE announces the $1 million Tough Enough to find the next WWE superstar.
Awesome.
The winner receives a WWE talent contract worth up to $1 million and the recognition of being tough enough to become a WWE superstar. The reality program that drew top ratings on MTV on Thursday nights will be a special part of WWE SmackDown, and this time WWE will award someone a WWE talent contract worth, they love this word, worth, up to $1 million. The 8 contestants, they will train with Tough Enough trainer Al Snow and then appear on WWE SmackDown to undertake specific tasks to show why they are worthy to be Tough Enough champion. Each week, a contestant will be eliminated based on fan voting, leading up to the finale on December the 16th, when the winner will be decided. People interested in competing in the $1 Million Tough Enough can send a VHS. Remember one of them? Containing 1 minute of material to WWE to demonstrate why they should be considered for the $1 Million Tough Enough. Deadline for submissions is midnight Wednesday, September the 8th, Applicants must be male and aged 20 or older. For more information, go to WWE.com. Are you ready for Tough Enough?
I am. I think this one's going to be awesome.
Is this the one with like Ryback and The Miz?
Yeah.
Oh, marvellous. We
Hence
might
the
have
wordplay.
might have to review. We might have to. Oh, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Pun missed. Absolutely over the head. Over the head. So then, are you ready then for some Smack of the Down? It is the 19th of August 2004. We are not live from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. JBL, he comes out to begin with OJ. He helps JBL and oh my God, he is fucked. He's wearing a Halo back brace. He looks in a right mess.
It looks like this.
In a funny spot, OJ puts JBL's hat right on top of the neck brace, which was a fucking great spot. It was brilliant. The fact that they used that image for any JBL moments, advertising JBL in the video, in the little still packages, they used the image of him in the fucking brace with the hat on. It's absolutely
There you are,
genius.
ladies and gentlemen. We have a comedy act as world champion. It's not hard to imagine notice now, is it?
So I prefer for him to be comedy than be stale. I fucking love America, hate foreigners. Because there's only so much fun you can with that. Comedy, there's so many different ways you can go with that. I don't mind a bit of comedy. I love how JBL lost his balance getting in the ring, almost falling to the floor. JBL, he says he's in tremendous pain and asks the crowd to keep it down, which prompts the crowd to boo.
You don't tell people you've got a headache and then expect them to be quiet.
Oh, it's perfect heel tactics. It's like, I wish you'd shut up. And hey, fans don't like being told what to do. He shows still shots from the match last night. JBL, he says he's not a coward like the Canadian Army. Boo! JBL, he asks OJ to take off his jacket. He then tells the crowd to quiet down because, like America, he's here to protect them. JBL says Taker will never get a rematch for the WWE title again. Dong! OJ, he fucks off. JBL, though, is a bit worried. He tries to get out of the ring, but his brace hits the ropes and he bounces off onto the mat, which, again, a great comedy spot. Orlando, he helps JBL over the barricade. As OJ turns, JBL loses balance and sits on a fan at ringside. They both fall onto a chair. Great comedy spot.
I hope that wasn't a plan.
OJ and JBL, they make their way to the back as Taker poses with the belt in the ring as we go to break, which was one of them where I love it. I mention it all the time, where you can have interaction in a feud without them actually having a fight.
Yeah.
And this was where you didn't need a match. I know it comes, but you don't. This segment, you didn't need it. You didn't need fisticuffs between Jordan and Undertaker. You didn't need fisticuffs between JBL and Taker. That's just the stare and the look and the presence that Taker has. That helps. And the comedy stylings of, I'm not saying JBL's winning me over, but he's getting there. If he goes on being a comedy bollocks, I love some comedy bollocks.
I do prefer him with the comedy shit. But he was right when he said that Taker will never hold the W title again. Technically, he was right.
Technically.
He only goes on to hold the big gold belt.
He does. He does. Very, very. Look at Mike. Full of stats.
This is the last time, I believe, that Taker will. This segment in the ring is the last time Taker will hold the WWE title.
Wow.
How good does that title look with the dead man?
That is very, very true. It'd be very interesting to see if that isn't a correct statement from the stat man. Up next, Scotty Tuati loses to every cunt versus Spike Dudley for the Cruiserweight title.
He decided to pick a fight with the champ and his two wrestlers.
That's a stupid thing to do at the minute, isn't it, really? The Cruiserweight division is overrun by Dudleys. Scotty goes for the pin, but gets a two as Bubba puts Spike's leg on the rope. Scotty goes for a spear, but goes straight into the ring post. Dud the dog by Spike, gets the 1-2-3, but the duds aren't done, and Bubba, he belly flops onto Scotty, and we get Devon and Bubba holding Scotty up as Spike goes for a big old dick kick. Spike is running roughshod over the Cruiserweight division with his older brothers.
Well, it's the boss of the Cruiserweights, isn't he?
He's the boss of everybody at the minute. He needs a diva to start bossing around. Where's Molly Holly? He needs to get Molly Holly again and start, but this time, instead of pining after her, start bossing her around instead.
But no, Bubba's timing was impeccable in this. When Scotty skinned the cat, Bubba tried to grab him, but he just missed. So that timing there was perfect. And then when Scotty was doing the worm, he got to the R, and then Bubba grabbed his leg before he could get the M.
It's a ring veteran, ring general. He's old Bubba Ray Dudley. It's just a shame that they are kind of getting wasted in this feud with Spike, but it is somewhat different, and at least it gives the Cruiserweight division a bit somewhat of purpose. Like, the Cruiserweight title has always needed to have a weird but quite solid storyline. Like, for a long time, Chavo had it, and we had the various things with his dad and with Jackie and stuff like that. And now we've got the stuff with Spike and with his brothers, and it's always got a bit of meaning, which you can't fault them for that, where they always try and push the title. At least it's got a storyline.
Which it needs to make it mean something.
Absolutely. We go to the announcers. They start talking, but then a big banner goes up behind them saying, Heidenreich, next week.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. That is one way of announcing.
Very left field.
You know, because we just had a VT saying Carlito Caribbean Call is coming. But I thought it was just like some fans trying to get on TV at first. I didn't realise it was a Heidenreich.
Massive fans are bringing a fuck off banner to
It's like Vince likes cocks on a massive banner.
We're then thrown backstage to Josh Matthews with John Cena. Next week on SmackDown is the second match of the Best of 5 series. Cena, he talks about going 2-0 and the champ being here. When Spike interrupts, Spike says he's the only champ here at this minute. He tells
so what
Spike,
about JBL, Kidman?
Cena tells Spike to go and get some glasses because he can't see me, and wraps his hand around his neck. But then the Duds, they come out of nowhere and beat on John Cena. So we're going to get one of the Duds versus Cena, it seems.
Cena versus the Dudley.
Cena versus the Dudley. You don't know what to get prepared for. They both look the same, Vince. They both look the same. Up next, Paul London, Billy Kidman versus the brand new team of SmackDown, Chavo Guerrero and Jamie Noble.
And Taz on commentary calls Jamie Noble a pitbull. Big foreshadowing there.
Big foreshadowing. Speaking of Jamie Noble, I don't think I asked you this at any point. What do you make to his new orange Randy Orton-esque pants? Gone are the jorts.
Confederate flag on him.
Yes, gone are the jorts because that's seen a stick.
Yes, now he's got a copy of the other up-and-coming
Mini Orton. Just angry little redneck Orton.
See, I get why they're using a Confederate flag, but look at the Confederate flag in 2020.
He's a southern hick when it's Jamie Noble. We get a sunset flip from the outside by Kidman. Chavo, though, he tries to hold to the ropes but can't. And Noble, in his genius, he pulls Chavo's leg, which gives him the leverage. Chavo grabs the ropes again. 1, 2, 3. And your new tag team on SmackDown gets a victory over the tag team champions.
Well, we've got automatic new number 1 contenders.
Straight away. That's like 2020 booking, where we won't have a storyline. I'll come out and I'll say I want to fight you for title, but then you'll say, well, if you want to fight me, you need to beat this person or beat me, and then I beat that person or beat you, and then I get a title match.
And then you lose.
Then you lose.
But no, it was a nice, quick cruiserweight match for SmackDown.
Very enjoyable. I couldn't agree more. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
2 cruiserweight matches in a row. Good building show so far.
SmackDown is WCW. That's how it should be. And what we craved for many, many, many weeks, because we had it. I think it was an overkill every week, wasn't it? For probably a solid year of 2003. Yeah. Every week SmackDown opened with fast-paced cruiserweights, and then they stopped and started opening with Kurt Angle promos and then JBL promos and shit like that. We go backstage, and Teddy Long is with Brian Hebner, and he tells him to go and find Cena and the Dudleys. Because if they don't know, one of Teddy's house rules is if you're going to fight in the back, you better be willing to take it to the ring. Holla, holla, player, as we go to commercials.
That's house rule number 4, I believe.
After tag team match.
We're not allowed to talk about the house rules.
Yeah, is that what it is? The first rule of Teddy Long's house rules is you don't talk about Teddy Long's house rules.
Yeah, and the second.
I see. We come back from the break and we get a promo for Tough Enough. It's back and it's for $1 million. And then we go to Latino Viva la Raza, Eddie Guerrero himself. He comes out, he tells Kurt to come out because the question of who's better still hasn't been answered. Eddie says since they each have a win over each other, they need a tiebreaker right here, right now. Kurt, though, he comes out, declines, and said, Eddie says that even though if you're not going to give him a rematch, I expect you to come in here and shake my hand. Kurt, though, he knows Eddie's full of bollocks, so he's very hesitant. But he comes in, Eddie extends his hand, we get the handshake, and then Eddie whoops Kurt's ass. Clotheslines him out the ring. The big dog, makes his way to the ring to check on Kurt. Kurt starts whispering to Luther as Eddie says Kurt knows him better than that, and he knows I'm a lying motherfucker. Great spot. Angle and Reigns, they go into opposite corners. It looks like they're going to batter Eddie, and all of a sudden, who's that jumping out of the sky? Rey Mysterio runs out, and it looks like I can predict a tag match going forward.
Hold on a minute, player. But no, Kurt was right to be hesitant, because Eddie does lie, cheat, and steal.
Well, the thing is, lightning shouldn't strike twice, right? And it was only last week, the week leading up to SummerSlam, where he went to Nicky's car, or maybe the week before, he went to Nicky's car, and Eddie went, don't, because there's a fifth device, don't. And he went, I did it, and he went, look, I told you.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I thought we were going to be getting a rematch from the match of the night from SummerSlam. I'm kind of glad we're going to be getting 2 out of 3 falls next week. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, Michael. I think to have any match to... the thing is with SmackDown do it so well, and Raw started copying because they had their Iron match and stuff. I think when it's, like we said, when it's the week that you're not building to a pay-per-view, they still have these pay-per-view main event matches. And I think a 2 out of 3 falls, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt
That's a
Angle,
pay-per-view match.
that could main event, name on a pay-per-view match, that could main event any pay-per-view in any fucking era.
Maybe.
Absolutely. Up next, John Cena versus the Dudley, that one being Devon. Booker T comes out to join the announce team. We get a suplex attempt by Devon, which gets blocked. Cena hits the FU. Pin attempt. 1, 2, 3. John Cena stays in the ring talking to Booker, tells him he's got something of his and I'm going to get it back. It feels really flat, does the Booker T John Cena storyline for the US title, because the matches are agreed. It's not like you're feuding over, can we potentially have a match and how do we get to the match? The match is already agreed. We've already had one. Next week's... Yeah, it's I hope it gets better. The match wasn't great. I hope the next match gets better. But you never know. You never know.
Well, we don't even get one of them.
Well, yeah, because what happens down under in WWE Australia. And the funny thing is, next week's episode, they say, we'll tell you what happens the week after. They never tell you. And then they drop it in a little bit later when they show a video package. And there's like, they're going to tell us what happened in the third match. No, they just drop it in. We see a SmackDown throwback as we're building up towards the 5th year anniversary. So we're building up to 5 years, Michael, of SmackDown, and all the iconic moments they could choose. Some of them, absolutely. Others, to use them, I'm not so sure. The first throwback is to the first SmackDown, focused on Triple H Rock for the title, where HBK was a special ref.
Mm-hmm. Great match from back in the day. It was before Judgment Day, weren't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like when I always remember with the SmackDown, because that wasn't the first one, because they had a pilot episode,
which was buried alive.
Yeah, which was filmed in like the Sunday Night Heat, Monday Night Raw arena, and I think like Kevin Kelly may have been on commentary or something like that. So that was like the pilot episode, and then they had obviously the first one on UPN. And I always remember in England it wasn't shown. Like we didn't get SmackDown till they were maybe 7 or 8 episodes deep, and it was on like many years later that I watched the actual episode. I always remember seeing clips at some point, maybe online or something like that, or seeing stills. But it was like maybe 5 years after. Yeah, probably even 5 years after.
2000.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was a lot of episodes deep until SmackDown aired in the UK on Sky One at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
We had it before July 2000, because I remember the episode where it's Benoit and Triple H versus Rock and Jericho before
yes. Yeah. I remember July, either maybe June 2000, around King of the Ring, because it was also the time of the European Championships football tournament, and I was away in Filey in a caravan watching Sunday Night Heat, and Sunday afternoon, it was Bob Ollie versus Triple H in the main event of Sunday Night Heat. It was like,
SummerSlam 95 rematch.
Oh, what a fucking world. What a world.
And please do check out that review on our Patreon. Again,
plug. Yeah, if you want to support the show, buy us a drink, get shots in, you can give us a quid. And if you like what we do, if you don't, the episodes are free. Up next, Rob Van Dam versus Rene Dupree. Michael, FIFA watch.
It was the Black FIFA, weren't it? It doesn't want to be out there.
It was the Black FIFA that doesn't want to be there. Like all the fucking Fifis.
I mean, I don't blame him. Like, who would want to be connected to ready, Duffy.
That's the problem, innit? If you're coming out to Hulk Hogan or Rocker, that you're alright. Fucking, I'm coming out with this cunt.
But who is it?
This
Who is
fucking
it?
this jobber cunt.
It's ready. Who's ready?
5-star Frog Splash gets the victory, as you'd expect. Renee doesn't beat anybody. But then Kenzo runs out and he beats the piss out of Rob Van Dam. And here it is, the new tag team. Tag team division on SmackDown is kicking off. We've got Chavo and Noble for a week or so. And then we've got Kenzo and Rene Dupree, the new
Champs.
Or Cesaro in Nakamura if you vacuumed away all their skill.
And charisma. And look.
And physique. We go backstage with Teddy in the production truck, and he tells one of the production women to play the tape once he gives the signal, as he has a huge announcement. And he comes to the ring, and he says, since becoming SmackDown GM, I've been trying to make an impact. Hi, TNA. Teddy says he's re-signed the most iconic man in wrestling. We then get a video for this said man, and it is with an incredibly amazing haircut. The Big Show is coming back.
Well, it is a crazy haircut. Has he not seen a barber since he's been out?
Lockdown, mate. He's been in lockdown, hasn't he? He's been in yeah, it's a iconic Big Show haircut, this. Fucking hell.
It's like a shit version of 99, late 99, but...
Up next, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle and the Big Dog. We get a ref bump. Kurt goes to do more damage with the ankle lock, but he's chased off by a chair-wielding Eddie Guerrero. The Big Dog, he's about to suplex Rey, but Eddie hits a low blow. Rey tags Eddie as the ref comes to. Kicked by Eddie, and he introduces Luther to the Three Amigos. Eddie goes to the corner. Luther begins to get up. Rey backs in. 619, frog splash, 1, 2, 3. But Kurt Angle, he's fucked off, and he comes back out with a couple of tins of paint and goes wild on Eddie's car. And the commentators react like this is the only car that Eddie ever has or ever will have or ever has in his life.
It's actually like it's his first car. It's his only car. They're acting like it's enough reason for Eddie to want to kill Kurt.
Oh, the motherfucker's gonna die.
What's this? Here we go. 619 connecting. Eddie Guerrero. Frog splash connecting. Where's Angle? For the leg. Miami cheating, stealing Eddie and Rey Mysterio doing tonight. Here are your winners, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. That was impressive, Cole, but it was like a handicap match. Hey, what's this? Third angle. What's this? Oh, no. No. Oh, my God. Oh, no. Kurt Angle. That's white paint on the lowrider. Oh, no. He's got another bucket. No, Kurt, what is Kurt doing? Eddie Guerrero is irate. Well, Kurt Angle, I'll tell you what he's doing. He's destroying that probably $15,000 paint job. That's metal flake paint.
But I did love how Rey was having the time of his life during the entrance. Rey was so happy to be in Eddie's car on the way to
Wouldn't you love to be?
Hell yeah, I'd be dancing dancing alongside Teddy.
Marking out for himself in a lowrider. But yeah, so that was your main event of SmackDown. Michael, as always, what did you make to SmackDown and how many Mavens?
I enjoyed SmackDown. Started off with a cruiserweight match. Some good matches. I thought the main event was pretty decent, to be fair. That 619 around the ring post from Rey to Kurt was brilliant. I love seeing him do it around the ring post. Don't know why I prefer that to the rope one.
I think it's just got more of that wow effect, hasn't it?
It is an OMG moment, as they say.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was, Kurt vandalising Eddie's car was a great way to continue the heat and builds perfectly into the next show. But I think Raw won easily.
Yeah, I'd agree where Raw wins. I think, for me personally, Raw wins every single week this week.
Oh, yes, same.
Yeah, I think this is one of them months where you can tell which brand is building towards a pay-per-view.
Which is weird.
For me, as we'll get into it, the Divas help massively. And the return of a certain Grand Theft Auto looking motherfucker.
My exact notes.
Speaking of which. So you ready then, Michael, for some more Monday Night Raw? It's August the 23rd, 2004. JR, he welcomes us and he says it's one of the most unusual and unpredictable Monday Night Raws ever, and he ain't fucking wrong. We open the show with some Diva Search bollocks. Jerry, he comments on how Carmella is his favourite, and JR disagrees, saying they're all his favourites. It's like working with Jerry's rubbing off on you, JR, isn't it?
It's just, he's a nice old man, JR. He's not looking at it the same way.
He's just like...
Because Carmella's probably the most experienced.
Hello. It's elimination time, and it's bye Tracy. Coach,
Bye, Trace.
he then gives the remaining Not Divas 5 minutes each to tell the coach how amazing he is. But this brings out the return of If You Smell, as the great one
Jabroni beating,
returns. Pie eating, kiss stealing,
eyebrow raising,
wheeling dealing.
trail blazing, Carl Johnson looking motherfucker.
Yeah, straight out of Grand Theft Auto.
Well, this is the part where it's only just come out, or it's about to come out.
That's Rock's new gimmick. It's going to get him over in Hollywood. The Not Divas, they mark out for The Rock, especially Maria and Christy. Carmella, though, she kind of looks like she ain't got the faintest clue who this guy is. It's like, why is everyone going wild for this guy? Who is he? I've not played Grand Theft Auto yet. It's an awesome segment. Rock dicks over Coach. You can definitely see, though, there's no script. They basically said, look, Rock, you need to go out and get us from you coming out to the Divas eating pie. The rest of it, crack on. And yes, people, the Divas eat pie.
Yep.
The Rock, he gives Coach 5 seconds to get out of the ring before he gets an ass whooping of a lifetime. Rock then tells Coach to fuck off because he needs to say, finally! And it's like, hey, the crowd go wild. And to be fair, I went wild at home as well. This was out of left field, this. Even the dirt sheets didn't give anything away about The Rock was going to make this appearance.
It was a lovely surprise.
The Rock then suddenly notices the Not Divas. He's like, hi, mamas. The Rock says, I know what you're thinking. Damn, look at The Rock. And also, I know that you're thinking, I'm getting a bit wet.
With sweat.
Gives a couple of seconds for the Divas to go, what? Because with perspiration from the lights. It's like, yes. Rock brings the Not Divas together so he can have a bit of a stare. He calls over Lillian. He's like, easy, big fella, pointing at his dick. He's like, go on, Rock. He's like, hi, mama.
Well, she did get fired from her job at the sperm bank for drinking too much on the job.
Rock's dick, though, he says he's got a mind of its own. Rock, then he asks who Carmella is, and he kind of shoots for a second, and he comments that he's heard at the back people saying nobody likes Carmella, which is completely kind of... It is true, but it's not true because the actual story in the back is Vince and everyone love Carmella. And The Rock says, back in the day, nobody liked me too. Which is, he's like, look, just be yourself and fuck everybody else. This all leads to The Rock hitting "it doesn't matter" line on Carmella. He's like, how do you feel? It doesn't matter how you feel. He's like,
then he has to tell her, it's okay, that's part of the job.
Call it an honour. And to be fair, I wouldn't mind Rock doing that on me as well. Rock,
I'd mark it out if you did.
Absolutely. Rock then shoots on the ice cream cone making segment that we had a couple of weeks ago. He says that everyone remembers that. And he's like, oh yeah, look, one dude clapping. And it's like, yeah,
I was clapping for sure.
Such a shoot comment. He says, Rock says it was entertaining. Not.
I can think of a way some people might find it entertaining.
Hey. Rock says nobody wants you to see ice cream. They want to see you eat pie. And we need some pie out. And of all the people to fucking pick to bring pie out, here comes Tadgers.
Chef to Jerry.
Vince is like, Kevin, he looks like a waiter. No, I reckon Vince went out. Vince, Linda, and kids went out for the Chinese last week. Right. And they're like, who can we use? Kevin! Kevin! These pork balls, Kevin! And that's how Tajiri comes out with various different... And to be fair, these pies, they look quite nice.
They do look quite tasty.
Rock, he asks if there's any pie lovers in the house. And then he asks, are there any strudel lovers? And he points to one guy and he goes, look, you must be related to the coach. He's like, yeah, gay jokes. Fucking Vince and his gay jokes. Vince, it's not just... It's Vince and his spawn. Because Rock's very much Vince spawn with his humour. And it's, yay, gay joke.
Well, I'm surprised Rock got one joke past Vince.
Well,
about him having good weed in Anaheim.
Yes, Rock tells the fans to settle down. The Rock, he then runs through the different flavours of pies and he wants to know the most important question. He goes, Tadgers, we've never spoke before. what's your favourite pie? And Tajas, after a couple of seconds, should I say it in Rock's like it's live TV, motherfucker? What's your favourite pie?
Poontang.
And then The Rock asks, what is Poontang pie? Me and you need to knock about with each other, son. It's fucking brilliant. Tajiri, it's comedy though. The comedy with Tajiri from back in the day with Regal and all that jazz, back in the action.
Tajiri's one of the funniest wrestlers.
He's naturally funny. It's like he's got the R-Truth gene. He's just naturally funny. His facial expressions, and just everything about Tajiri's the fucking man. Even though I was a bit like, why did they bring Tajiri out of all the wrestlers, Tajiri? That explains it.
Comedy.
My apologies, Vince. My apologies. I hope you enjoyed your Chinese. So it's pie eating time. Joy, she eats cherry pie while offering Carmella out in a match. As she puts it, WWE style, down and dirty. The Rock comments on the crowd silence. He's like, everyone clearly fucking loved that one. Amy, she goes wild on a pie. Carmella...
Well, you know, good instincts. She holds her hair back and starts flicking.
Good girl. Carmella, she starts rubbing herself in pie and then feeds Tajiri, and the fans really don't care for Carmella. Maria, she takes some pie off, licks some pie off her nose with her tongue, and then she puts her face
14-year-old me had the same reaction as Tajiri.
Tajiri absolutely loving life, as Michael is, even now. Name I'm 30. Right now.
Oh, thank you for saying 30 years and not 31 years.
Christy says her butt's hungry. She's getting a bit of the old hungry bum and it needs a feeding, and she sits in the pie. And Tajiri, he cannot believe what he's seeing. He's like, I'm the luckiest man in the world right now.
So do you reckon Tajiri ate that pie after?
1,000%. But Coach Cunt, he comes out to interrupt the proceedings with the Bellends, and the Bellends are going to give the people's ass whooping of a lifetime. Rock and Tajiri, they clear the ring and the fight is on. And The Rock with a great line, he's trying to rush the Divas out. There's fixing to be a homicide in this sumbitch. The Rock, though, with a little bit of a racist line, he goes, ding dong ching how, which is apparently Chinese or Japanese for just bring it.
Chinese.
Yeah, so it's a bit racist.
He says, I'm going to speak in Chinese on behalf of my friend here.
Yes, it's a bit racist. The Bellends and Coach, though, they get the upper hand until a wild Rhino appears, a spear. Coach is left alone in the ring with Tajiri, Rhino and The Rock. Rock ushers him to one side. Coach gets the big man. He's like, come on in, Rocky. I'll fucking batter you, motherfucker. Spinebuster, people's elbow. Rocky can't take off his elbow pad because he's not got one. Whips off his shirt. Jerry goes wild, which is a bit weird. Jerry likes seeing a naked Rock. People's elbow ends the segment. It's a great segment, but Michael, opening Coach line of Welcome to the Diva Search to The Rock delivering the elbow. 24 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's far too long.
For an opening promo.
Well, Rock had about a 5-minute entrance, because it's Rock. It takes him 2 minutes, takes him less than a minute to walk down to the ring, but it still takes him 5 minutes.
For me personally, I fucking loved it. And we had a conversation.
I love seeing The Rock.
We had a conversation during the week where I messaged you and said, this is up to now one of the greatest, if not the greatest, opening 25 minutes of a Raw ever, without trying to give anything away. And he's brilliant. He's just so funny. And like I said at the start, I believe this was so unscripted. And it was just The Rock, go on, have a bit of fun. And you've got women in bikinis. We've got pie. We've got Lillian jokes. We've got Rock's dick. It's a great fucking opening segment. Great opening segment. 5 stars. Well done, Raw.
They probably just gave Rock a microphone and said, just mention pie, get Coach out of there, and have fun.
Absolutely. Up next, we get an update on the future of Randy Orton. As we go to the break and as we come back, we see the happy groom, the Big Red Glenn, whistling Here Comes the Bride as he walks with what looks like a dress in his hands. JR and the King, they discuss Randy Orton being expelled from Evolution last week, and we get a video package. And then we go backstage again with Triple H and the boys. Batista apparently has delivered an ultimatum to Randy Orton in person, and now apparently Randy Orton is no longer in charge of his destiny. Evolution is.
But Alan asked Rick, is Orton still here? The show's only just started. What is it going to be?
Yeah, I fucked off already. And you've not even seen me and I've already left. And then we're still backstage with Kane and Lita. Kane says it's bad luck to see the bride, but he has a gift. A beautiful white wedding dress, as it's all white affair to signify the purity of the child that Kane put inside her. And
I would have preferred a cheerleader outfit. Just for the callback to Katie Vick.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
It's like, she couldn't wear this on her wedding day, so you will.
You. I did like Kane. I love Kane's creepy vibe. It's like, I love tonight. I can't wait. I know you don't like it, but I fucking love it. It's brilliant. And then, Michael, 31 minutes into tonight's show, it is time for our opening contest. And it is the IC title, which is on the line with Edge, the reigning defending champion, going up against Y2J, Chris Jericho. Y2J, he goes for the walls, but Edge rolls him up. 1, 2, 3, but Jericho's leg is hanging halfway over the fucking rope. The ref finally realises, after calling the 1, 2, 3, ringing the bell, letting Edge have about 30 seconds to 45 seconds of celebration, and then kind of finally realises, calls the match back on, and we go to the break.
Edge could just literally run back through Gorilla.
Just run out. No,
like,
ref, you called it.
I'm done.
No,
I'm
you
done.
called it. I heard the bell. You called it. So the match continues after the break, and it ends with a really random spot. Jericho goes for a crossbody. Edge catches him, crotches him on the top rope, which I've seen thousands of wrestlers do throughout my life being a wrestling fan. But this time, it's a fucking DQ. Edge sets up for the spear, goes for the spear, but Chad Patton, no, it's a DQ, saying Edge deliberately dumped Jericho. Very weird finish, very weird finish. But what did you make, Michael? It took half an hour to get here. Our opening match on Raw.
So I'd have preferred a screwy finish. Yeah, fair enough. You could save this actual finish for the pay-per-view. But the finish that they went with just ruined it.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not
still had more. That spot, but then have Edge roll and then feet on the ropes or something.
Yeah, it was of all the spots to use, a spot that's used time and time and time again, a wrestler to get an advantage.
Or a dick kick.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of them.
Just Shattered Dreams or something like that. Where's Goldust when you need him? Up next, here comes Evolution to Hunter's theme music, which I found quite weird, until it all made sense when Randy Orton came out to Evolution's music. Because Randy has not yet got his own theme, so it'd be weird them both coming out to the same music, even though, for me, it's a weird one, because Randy got kicked out of Evolution, but I'm still using Evolution's theme.
Yeah. They should have had new music ready for when he...
Or could it just not come out without a theme? I'm a nobody now.
Yeah.
I'm not a nobody, but I'm on my own now. But I'm still in a bit. I'm on that 2-week cycle of where's my life going now? I had Evolution for years, and what felt like years. So what do I do? So yeah, he could have just walked out just with a smirk on his face or something. But no, Hunter delivers the ultimatum. Randy needs to hand over the belt, and Evolution will pass him by, leave him be, forget he ever existed. But if he doesn't, we're coming after you, and we're gonna fucking kill you. Randy comes out, it looks like he's going to hand over the belt, but then delivers the biggest goz of all the gozers. He must have been storing that since he came out at the top of the ramp. And Triple H is covered in Randy Orton's spit.
He's been holding that in since he joined Evolution.
I'm telling you. The segment ends, Triple H going wild over the ropes with the spit dripping everywhere, and it's like, ugh.
Load of proper gas.
Yeah, going forward then, we're going to get Triple H versus Randy Orton over the world title, it seems.
Did you notice, though, when Triple H said that he's the greatest wrestler alive today, he said that exactly like Flair used to say that back in the day.
We've mentioned it time and time again. The influence rubs off so much. We go backstage with Victoria. She's with Eric Bischoff. She says it's wrong making Lita marry Kane, but then Hunter comes out of nowhere, drags Victoria out of the way, and demands Randy Orton and Bischoff confirms it for Unforgiven. So another match confirmed, Michael. It will be Randy versus Hunter for the World Heavyweight Championship.
See, that's a hyped match.
It's a blood feud, that's for sure.
Go Express.
Up next, William Regal versus Ric Flair, which is a main event in any era, and I'll fight anyone that disagrees.
Hell yes.
I don't think I've asked this. What do you make to Regal wrestling now in a singlet?
Well, the one we get next week, that was alright. This one looked like he was wearing 2 singlets at once.
Maybe they do sometimes, just to give a bit of a tighter fit round the waist.
Well, as we see in SmackDown, Eddie tries to pull Kurt's down. So maybe that's just...
Pull it down, there's another one. Pull it down. Like fucking Russian dolls. There's just another one appearing, another one appears, and another one appears. just different colours of singlets time and time again. We see also that Eugene is now the cover star for September's edition of Raw magazine. Fair fucks to him. I wouldn't mind being a cover star.
Hey, he's come a long way.
He's come a long, long way.
To having pointless match with Robert Conway, his former Los Conquistador. To
feuding with the Game in the main event of Raw.
Exactly.
That's come a hell of a long way, even though you're a spacker. So the match, ref gets distracted by Eugene and Batista on the outside, and then Benoit runs in as well. During this, Regal and Flair, they both have the same idea. They both go for brass knucks, but Regal strikes first, tucks it into the singlet. That's the reason why he's wearing singlets now, because there's more space to hide his brass knucks. It's easier access to get the 1-2-3, which was quite the upset victory. Regal getting the victory over Flair.
I love the ending there. Both thought the exact same thing.
Both heels.
At the exact same time.
Both two peas out the same pod, that's for sure.
But, Regal always says that he's a born villain.
That's it. We're cut from the same cloth. He said it's Triple H, and Triple H is cut from the same cloth as Flair. What a stable that'd be if it would have been Regal, Flair, and Triple H. What a stable. Up next, Michael, more Diva Search bollocks as it's time to vote. And then we see Lita backstage looking over the moon while she tries to break a mirror. I swear she tried to break that mirror as well. And all that were left were just whatever she threw at it, a glass or whatever, it was just the liquid pouring down. That mirror stood strong.
Yes. And Kane looks a lot like Mr. Clean.
So with 20 minutes to go in the show, it is time for the Wedding from Hell. Michael, we've had 2 matches. We've had 2 matches on episode of Raw because it's time for the wedding.
But I've preferred all the Raws. How's this Raw running with 2 matches?
I fucking love this episode of Raw.
Is it because Ozzy Osbourne's on piano and Bonnie Tyler's on cello?
I love the fact that they went all out by getting... Kane's entrance music was fucking amazing. It was brilliant.
I thought it was weird.
I loved it. I thought it was so good. It's so good. It's so symbolic because it's a wedding, but yet you've got something that sounds like a funeral track. Because it is the Wedding from Hell. Jerry, he's lost for words with the ring bearer and the flower girl. He's like, look at these fucking little people. He's lost for words. Lita,
I couldn't find the names. I looked hard. I couldn't find the names of them. I found the flower girl was one of the producers or something.
Ah, right, okay.
Or one of the backstage staff.
Do you know if somebody looked at your Google search results of the past few months? There's so many search results for midgets. What is this midget wrestler called? Lita, she comes out still looking absolutely over the fucking moon, but
looking like the girl from the My Chemical Romance video.
But she's out in a black dress and Kane is not fucking happy. Kane delivered his vows to What Chance and says Lita will never understand what freedom is as she is now his property, which is a massive fucking angle for going forward. Property's a big thing in this. The vicar, he asks if anyone here present knows a reason why they shouldn't get wed. Oh, everyone's looking for Matt Hardy. He doesn't come. Lita looks pissed. Here comes Trish in some fucking xhamster.com underwear.
Well, she wore white because Lita can't wear it anymore.
We get a cat fight. And Kane, he finally fucks him off, fucks Trish off, saves Lita, and he rushes along the ceremony. Then Matt Hardy, as Kane's just about to say I do, he appears. He's come back to no avail. One chokeslam later, Kane drags Lita back into the ring, and Raw goes off the air with a brand new power couple, Mr. and Mrs. Kane Jacobs.
Kane, I hate you, Kane, more than life itself. You are a vile, horrible man with no soul. And even though I have no choice but to marry you, I want to make it clear that I love, and I will always love, Matt Hardy. I sincerely hope you rot in hell.
Okay, so there's a few things. One, Trish says that she doesn't believe in sex before marriage. I'm sorry, but I may have to call bullshit on that.
Hi, Vince.
Why doesn't Lita just say no?
Just saying that. Why didn't she just file for a divorce straight away?
That as well.
Straight away. And is it an annulment when you annul a wedding like in the opening couple of days or 24 hours or something like that?
Yeah.
Straight away. On what grounds? Well, watch
free.
Raw.
Or
Yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah.
But I did love when they're walking up the ramp and Kane just makes stage set on fire.
Oh, Kane's got the power. He's like his brother. His brother could send lightning into the arena. Yeah, I forgot to mention, so as Matt Hardy and Kane are battling, Matt Hardy tries to save Lita. Kane, as Michael just said, sets fire to the stage. We just get a wall of fire where Matt and Lita, they could just jump either side. Oh no, they stand there frozen. So Michael, how was Raw and how many Mavens?
Raw was really enjoyable. So I'll give it 3 Mavens.
I agree.
Even though there's only 2 matches. And I know I've dicked on Raw before for only having 2 matches. But the show itself was really enjoyable.
It had so many segments that did you know that opening 25 minutes with The Rock and the Divas? That didn't feel like an opening 20 minutes of Triple H and Evolution that drags on. That was so much fun. And
It went quick.
If WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment, yeah, there wasn't much wrestling, but my God, did they back it up with entertainment. That was a brilliant episode. I give it a solid 3 Mavens. Solid 3 Mavens. It would have been more if it had more wrestling, but for what it delivered, it was a brilliant. I would have loved to have sat down on a Friday at 10 o'clock, being a kid, and that would have been my episode of Raw. It's fucking
Yeah, you got
brilliant.
Ozzy Osbourne and Buddy Tyler on music. Ozzy Osbourne on piano and Buddy Tyler on cello. That explains a limb.
Up next, it is time for some more Smack of the Down. 26th of August, Michael, we're in Fresno, California. We are not live. Eddie Guerrero, he comes out first without the lowrider, as he only has that one lowrider.
Yeah. It's not like he could get a custom lowrider from any other custom lowrider shop.
So are they trying to tell
Especially in
us?
Fresno, California.
So are they trying to tell us then that every lowrider that Eddie's ever had is just a new paint job?
And body job, it looks like.
And he only has the one. He spends thousands every week between SmackDowns changing it up so it looks different. That's commitment to the gimmick, that. He must be skint. He must be skint. Guerrero, he calls out Kurt, but the big dog comes out instead. Angle, though, he calls Eddie out to the parking lot. Angle, he tells him to do whatever he wants, but leave his car alone. And Eddie's like, oh, it's your car. I say, oh, mamacita. Smashes fuck out of the car. I say the car. The car turns out to be Teddy Long's car. And in what goes on to be like a weird half an hour, we get Teddy going, my car, my car, my car. He has to tell you about 45 times that it's his fucking car.
I did love Eddie's facial expressions when the realization set in there. He was like, I'm just destroying Kurt's car, SE. It's like, that's not Kurt's car, that's my car. It's like, oh.
My bad. Up next, opening match of the night, Rob Van Dam versus Kenzo Suzuki with Hiroki. Suzuki, he gives a pro-US promo to get heel heat because in WWE land, only white people can love America.
But he says that he's got a face man who drives a Japanese car and scoffs. Says RVD should be driving an American car. So correct me if I'm wrong, people, but isn't the only big American car brand Ford?
Yes.
There's too many of them on the road already.
Should be driving a Ford. RVD, he goes for the 5-star, but Renee interferes. Suzuki tries to capitalise, but RVD rolls him up for the win. Now, after the match, Suzuki and Renee, they double team RVD. But why couldn't they let Suzuki go over if you're going to push these two as the new heels on SmackDown? Get a win on your first match and let Renee, make it be a dusty finish, but let Renee be the one that maybe trips up RVD or something like that. And at least
have Renee push.
Have the dirty foreigners win.
And then the Von Erich claw slam.
Yeah, just have the dirty foreigners win any which way possible. Just RVD wins again because you're just jobbers.
That's what they are.
They are.
Two jobbers that have been put together now in a tag team.
A team of jobbers. A team of jobbers. We go backstage to Teddy Long. He's mourning the loss of his car. Bradshaw, though, he pulls up and he threatens to sue Teddy. Teddy says that Bradshaw must defend the WWE title tonight, but JBL says he can't because he's fucked. But Long declares, Michael, Orlando Jordan will tonight be representing the WWE champion, as he will be defending the WWE title against The Undertaker on behalf of JBL.
I mean, the only one I can think of where someone's won the title on behalf of someone or for someone before was Andre beating Hogan and then giving the title to DiBiase.
Yeah, but I suppose he's just handed it him. He's not fighting it for me now. It's now yours. There was one, thanks to good old Google. Buzz Sawyer, he lost the North American title on behalf of Dick Slater. Because Michael Cole does ask the question a bit later on. He was like, oh, has this ever happened before? And I was like, has it? Went to Google. There's your answer.
Thank you, Google.
Cheers, Google.
That up-and-coming company.
Up next, Chavo Guerrero with his new tag team partner, Jamie Noble, going up against Billy Kidman with Paul London.
Didn't we have this match like a couple of weeks ago?
Because this is how it works in the tag team cruiserweight division. There ain't no other fucking tag teams. Sit down, shut up,
2020.
Enjoy it. Chavo, he targets Billy's shoulder. Kidman, he delivers a pair of clotheslines, but Chavo comes back with an armbar DDT. Kidman backflips out of a suplex, but he can't do the BK bomb because his shoulder's fucked and he just has to settle for a drop kick. He then goes up top for a shooting star press. Noble crotches him. London takes out Noble though. Kidman re-steadies himself and delivers that shooting star press that nearly fucking kills Chavo Guerrero.
Aims for the head.
It's horrible. It's nasty. I'd like to think he's not doing it on purpose, and it's either he mistimes it. Because the thing is, we've mentioned this before, when people like Evan Bourne or even Brock do a shooting star press, he comes down straight. Kidman, he always jumps at an angle. And sometimes his knees can be out of position or whatever, and this was, and it was nasty.
No, he landed full on his head.
Nasty bump, and his knee landed full on Chavo's head. Absolutely fucking, bleh.
Well, did you see the sign that was on the hard cam throughout the match?
No.
Feel the sting, like heat and steel.
Well,
so it's Eddie going to be the new face of YJ Stinger?
It could be. That is
something that's cool.
That could be foreshadowing. Speaking of cool, we get a promo for Carlito Caribbean Cool. He talks about how cool he is and he spits in the face of an old fella once he's got an apple off him. I fucking love Carlito.
I love the gimmick.
Love Carlito. I cannot wait. I'm so glad it's this early. I thought it might be another 6 months or something, but yeah, Carlito is coming.
I thought it was another month at least.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Can't wait. We go backstage. Teddy Long, he confronts Kurt Angle and reminds us that this car belongs to Long. Like, over and over and over again, he's cleaning up. I want my deal. It's my car. It's my car. It's my car. And next week we find out it's Angle versus Eddie, as we spoke about earlier, 2 out of 3 falls. But tonight, in this very ring, it's Angle versus Rey Mysterio. And then he makes the big dog clean up all the remains of the car, which he says before he ends, that car belongs to me. Get to sweeping. Up next, match number 2 of the best of 5. John Cena versus Booker T for the US title. Cena, he elbows out at the bookend, delivers a bulldog. You can't see me. 5-knuckle shuffle. Goes for the FU, but Booker slides out. But then Booker gets a backslide, puts his feet on the ropes, gets the victory. It is now 1-1. Not the greatest of matches. The SummerSlam match wasn't great. This wasn't any better. This feud needs to start picking up.
Yeah, I thought this feud between these two would be a lot hotter than it is. Considering the build to the start of the feud. So everything pre-SummerSlam. It looked like it was building some good momentum. And now it's just...
I think, like we mentioned earlier, though, I think it's one of them where the matches have already been agreed and you know what's coming. You don't need any excitement or fun to get there because it's already there.
Plus, you know it's not going to be a straight sweep.
And it's going to be, I want you, yeah, but you're not going to beat me, but I'm going to beat... And I think that's the worst thing with things like 2 out of 3 falls or best of 5s. You know, it's very, very rarely that they'll pull off a 2 out of 3 fall match as a 2-0 victory. Very rarely. And this is the same with this. This was never going to be a 3-0.
I mean, think about the last time there was like a multi-fall match. Like, for example... Shield versus Evolution. Shield clean sweep. I think the only other time since then that there's been a clean sweep like that was probably at Chamber of this year.
Well, if you look at things like your Survivor Series, I remember the Survivor Series was at 06 with DX and Punk.
Oh, that one.
With the clean sweep there.
Yeah.
Going back to 1990 Survivor Series, I think it was Rick Model's team. They had a clean sweep over Jake. So you have to think hard and long to find things like that. So yeah, it's interesting times ahead. We go backstage. Josh Matthews, he interviews Paul Heyman for a couple of seconds, and then Heyman takes over and introduces his new man. We've seen the vignettes. Brock Lesnar 2.0 Heidenreich. Heyman says
Lesnar from Wish. Lesnar Light.
Lesnar from Wish. Heyman says Heidenreich will destroy anyone that gets in his way. Matthews questions whether or not Heidenreich can live up to the hype. Heidenreich then decides to give a little demonstration, and Matthews bumps like a boss as Heidenreich batters him all fucking over. And then, yeah, it finishes him with his little shoulder breaker. And then
Paul says, that's not hype, that's Lesnar Light.
Hypenreich. And then we see a vignette. Big Show is returning to SmackDown, if you didn't already know. And up next, the rematch from SummerSlam 02. It's Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio.
I got the exact same line in my notes.
Rey hits a 619. Angle counters the springboard Rana into a big powerbomb for 2, which I thought that would be the finish. Angle goes for the Super German, but Rey elbows out of it. Rey goes for a victory roll, but Angle does the Owen Hart WrestleMania 10. Counters, holds on. 1, 2, 3. Nowhere near as good as SummerSlam, but still a very fun match. What did you make to Angle and Rey?
And I also noted the Owen Brett Mania finish.
Get out of my head, bro.
It's weird because I was only watching that match the other night as well. And I saw it happen here as well. It's like, yeah, I can understand why they've gone that route. It's a great finish. No man looks weak in that finish. And
it's one of them
trying to do something with Rey.
Well, that's it. Are they pushing Rey now as the next big thing?
Well, not big thing. Next underdog.
The next little lad.
Yeah, it was a great match. Not as good as SummerSlam 02, but that was extraordinary.
Yeah, it was SummerSlam, and Kurt was one less injury fucking down line.
Exactly.
I think that plays a big part into it. Big part. Up next, then we get another SmackDown throwback building up to a 5-year anniversary with Governor Schwarzenegger costing Triple H on SmackDown. Do you remember that?
I remember Arnie on SmackDown and getting into a little mini brawl with Alan.
Yeah, getting his own, presented with his own WWE title as well. I was so jealous of fucking Terminator back then.
And then they reconciled in 2015 and Triple H got to use the Terminator entrance.
Well, there you go. Because Vince never forgets. Well, I remember when I awarded you Medal Champion. Well, I want your shit now. We see Orlando Jordan, and he promises that he'll do his best to retain the title, but he admits that he's not so good. JBL, he does his best to give Orlando a pep talk. Orlando says he'd be more confident if he could take the title with him. And do you know, I can't fault him there. I think if you're coming out as champion, give me the belt as well. Let me feel like champion.
That's the only fucking title he's going to hold.
It leads on. No, he becomes US champion, motherfucker. Put some respect on OJ's. Put some respect on the Juice's name. Up next, it is time for the World Heavyweight Championship. It is the Juice going up against the Dead Man. Taker, he delivers the chokeslam from Hell, but JBL breaks up the cover. Taker comes back with Snake Eyes, big boot. Taker, though, goes after JBL, allowing Jordan to attack him from behind. Taker, though, chokeslams Jordan. He's about to finish him off for a tombstone, but JBL pulls the referee out of the ring, drawing the DQ, and of course the title does not change hands on a disqualification. After the match, Taker rips off JBL's protective collar and gives him a big dirty chokeslam.
Did you notice that when JBL's arguing with Chimmel to declare him the champion still, Cole immediately gets up because he sees Taker coming?
Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but Cole, don't make it obvious that Taker stood behind JBL.
He's on edge. Cole's always on edge about wrestlers. Cole's a
very... Well, that was great camera work by Kevin Dunn.
Very little man. So then, Michael, that was SmackDown. What did you make? We're 2 down. Who won this week and how many Mavens for SmackDown?
So I thought SmackDown was really good. But Raw just went out this week based upon the wedding and San Andreas.
And San Andreas Rocky. I have to agree completely. I think SmackDown, they're progressing everything along fine, storyline wise, obviously with Guerrero, JBL, Kurt, all the other stuff JBL Taker, Kurt, Eddie Guerrero, even your mid card, even though I said that's what's letting it down at the minute, because for ages your mid card has been Cena, Booker, RVD, Renee, fighting over the US title, and that's taken a lot of TV time. Which they've had some good stuff, they've had some dire stuff. Now you've got 50% of that are now a tag team, and you've got 60% are now fighting amongst themselves, where Booker and Cena are tied up now for another 3 weeks at least. And RVD, what's he going to do now going forward? Because he's not going to get, unless he gets a tag partner and carries on his feud with Kenzo and Renee. We shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Do you really want to see more RVD versus Ren and Ken?
Nope. Ren and Ken. So, Michael, how many Mavens for Smack of the Down?
I'll give it a 2.5. I gave Raw 3.
I'm a 2. I think Raw deserves. It doesn't even deserve just a half more. Raw was so fucking funny. It was full of all the bollocks and the shite that I want out of my Monday Night Raw. Give me my matches on pay-per-view. Raw and SmackDown, give me the bollocks.
You watch the TV for entertainment.
Absolutely. So then, Michael, are you ready for some more Monday Night Raw? It is August the 30th, 2004. We get as the show starts, we get a still image, usually graphic, saved for when a wrestler passes away. This time it was a guy called Marcin McCluskey, and I was like, what is that? Because I didn't recognise him as like a referee or a backstage agent. Well, Marcin McCluskey, he was the director of graphics for WWE on the TV. And unfortunately, he lost his life in an accident on the motorway. We got thrown off his motorcycle. The company said he was the sweetest man that they ever met. He had an uncanny ability to bring people together and was a phenomenal artist. Rest in peace, Mr. McCluskey.
He's done a great job with his graphics, and hope he was rest in peace and thoughts to his family.
Well, I hope he wasn't the person responsible for the WWE tag title graphics. If he were, then you weren't doing the greatest jobs, pal.
No, but
he was director of graphics. I imagine underneath him, you did the titles, you did this graphic, you did that graphic. So it were not Marcin, it was some other cunt. But Marcin, I never knew you, but rest in peace. Michael, normal service is resumed as Alan and the boys make their entrance for Monday Night Raw. Triple H, he says there wouldn't be an evolution for him. He says, a couple of digs, it were brilliant. He said Flair forgot how to be the nature boy before Triple H picked him off the floor and brought him back to the top. Hunter, he also believes he gave Batista direction and he made him the animal that he is today. Flair kind of agrees, and Batista's having none of it. Batista stands at distance thinking, give me a chance and I'll rip the fuck out of you.
Which, yeah, you will.
Hunter
a few times over.
Yeah. Hunter says no one gave a crap about Randy Orton until he saw him. He chose Orton to be the guy to take his place when he was done, but I'm not done yet. And how did Orton repay Hunter? He repaid him by spitting in his face. Here comes Randy Orton to some brand new music, and I'll fight anyone. This is Orton's best ever theme tune ever.
Oh, 1,000% thumbs down.
Nothing you can say. Nothing's gonna change what you done to me. Great theme tune. Fucking brilliant. And when he comes out as the champ with the waterfall and that theme, and I fucking love it. We see though some staffers that are bringing out what look like paintings to the stage covered in sheets.
Yeah, a couple of easels.
Orton says, first of all, don't call me Orton, call me Champ. And you can tell that hurts Hunter. That hurts Hunter more than anything. So Orton reveals the pictures. The first one is Evolution with Hunter front and centre. She says that's what it's always been about. It's not about us. It's always about you. And when Flair and Batista realise and stop kissing your ass, they'll fucking Gior as well. That prompts Flair to go wild. And Orton's like, come on then, Rick, it's going to happen eventually. Come on, bring it. Which I love that. I thought, yes, go on, Orton, going, kick fuck out of Ric Flair. So far,
solidify yourself.
So far, the promo skills of Orton, they're 50-50 with his face, but I thought that was brilliant. The second picture we see is Randy defeating Benoit with no one around after Triple H said that Evolution are always there to help Orton, and if it wasn't for Evolution, Orton wouldn't be where he is today. And he's like, hang on a minute. Check this picture out.
My own merit.
Nowhere to be seen.
You never did it.
And the third picture is a good old close-up of Randy spitting on Triple H. So what are your overall thoughts then, Mike, at the minute of Randy Orton and his promos? Where are we on the promo scale?
As a face or overall?
As a face.
As a face, need work. I like some of the lines, like when once Dave and Rick figure out they can detach their lips from your ass. Great line. It caused Flair to react the way Flair needed to react.
Oh, Flair thought was like, that was the sort of line where he said, I want to take your children home and fucking torture them. Flair's like, come here, fucking destroy you.
And I did like that he, reminded Triple H that I beat Benoit, you didn't.
Fucking 100%.
I love his cockiness, which can work as a face at times.
Absolutely.
Just needs a bit more work.
Orton, he says he wants a piece of Evolution and he has a friend to help him. I was expecting Benoit to come out, but no, it's old Sledgy itself. Orton, he runs down, starts swinging Evolution Scarpa to end the segment. It was another one. It was great. Nobody actually interacted with anyone physically, but there was enough words on the promos and the little stills and the pictures and stuff. It was a great segment. Normal service has been resumed. Evolution in a great segment to kick off Raw.
As you said, normal service has resumed. I'm glad it wasn't Benoit coming out to back Orton up. I wouldn't mind Edge.
But Edge is...
We're trying to do the heel thing with
Edge. They're trying their best at the heel thing with Edge.
So I did like that he had a sledgehammer just hidden behind one of them easels.
Yeah, just in case it kicked off. We go backstage and we see Orton. He's with Bischoff. Bischoff demands Orton leaves the arena, but he wants him to leave the sledgehammer, and then he drops the sledgehammer, doink, straight onto Bischoff's foot.
For about a minute.
Great bit
Bischoff
of comedy. Great bit of comedy. Up next, 3-on-2 handicap match. Rhino and Tadger's Buzzcore Express versus the Bellends and their coach.
So, Buzzcore Express versus two Bellends and a cunt.
Rhino with a big spear to coach, but the Bellends hit the au revoir for the 1, 2, 3. And then we see Papa Roach in the audience as the commentators take us back to last week with the wedding from hell. Still putting over Michael like it's the worst thing that's ever happened on WWE TV, ever.
If you ask later about Hardy, it was. And that's who we're supposed to be rooting for. That's why.
No, we're rooting for the big dead Glenn. He's got happiness now. He's got happiness now.
Kane just wants a happy family.
That's all.
Is that too much to ask for?
That's all. That's all he wants. That's all he wants. We see Regal and Master Eugene backstage, and Eugene is far too focused on baseball to not listen to Regal. Every time Regal says something, it's a baseball pun. Like towards the end, Regal's getting pissed. He tries to get a stern word. Look, Eugene listen. Evolution want to strike you down. Bischoff wants you gone, and he stops and goes, "Strike!" It's like Eugene's only focused on one thing. He's got very one-dimensional thoughts as old Master Eugene.
Just because he's gone to see a baseball game. But it'd been so much funnier if instead of Giants, it was like Dodgers or something. Like not San Francisco's team.
But that's for heel heat. And Eugene can't be after heel heat.
It's like our truth.
No, that's far too clever to think about that for WWE. You'll give WWE far too much credit sometimes, Michael.
I think I do.
Up next, Evolution's own Big Dave Batista versus William Regal. Flair with a brass knuck shot to Regal and Batista with a clothesline for the victory. It was a very quick, short match, but it did exactly what it needed to do.
Batista's pretty much dominated as well, most of that match.
Winning with the clothesline from hell, though, and not with the Batista bomb?
Well, you still got to put over how absolutely powerful Batista is. So clothesline, instead of a normal finishing move, does do that to an extent. But the brass nuts help.
Very, very, very true. Very true. We then go to some fucking conference centre somewhere as Ivory, Shawn Michaels and Linda McMahon want you to, not quite yet, smack down your vote. Pushing the young 18 to 30 WWE fan to get up off your couch at home, come and cast your vote on the next general election. It's time for this week's Diva Bollocks. Michael, it's that time that I spoke about a long time ago.
There was a great sign that said, someone 86 the Diva search. So if you don't know, 86 is a restaurant term that means to cancel it. To just stop it.
Just null and void. Null and void. Just what they should have done for all football from lockdown. Null and void. So due to the coach being tied up with the bell ends, Stacey is tonight's MC. Lawler says that he's fighting the urge to make Stacey the happiest woman on earth this evening. No, you staying away, Jerry, makes her happier enough. Happier. I'm sure. Lawler is desperate for the cameraman to pan around to see Stacey bent over just before he groans and moans into selling some shit. Now, just imagine being Xbox, yeah? And you've got to get, like, speaking of the adverts, Day of Reckoning was one of the games that they was plugging, yeah? So if you're Xbox, and you're like, oh, we're going to get an advert on, we're going to pay $2 million to have an advert pumped on Raw by the commentators. All right, I don't watch it, but I'm going to tune in and watch it. And the sentence, not even the sentence, the breath before Jerry started selling your products was, I want to see her cunt, I want to lick her fanny. Stacey, show me your shit. Oh, cameraman, you're a wanker because I want to see her cunt. But yeah, buy this for Xbox. It's like, fucking Michael, here we are. Four not divas. One live mic. What could possibly go wrong, as it is time for Diss the Diva. So Joy, she's up first, and she comments on how Amy's tits are a little bit too firm. She spanks Christy, and then she tells Carmella she talks a lot of shit with a gap so wide you could drive a truck right through there, baby. She goes to slap her, but her time runs out. Now, WWE censors that A, I'm so surprised this is still on the network, and B, their censors are a little bit off. The divas are working too quick for them.
Oh yeah, they are. Could definitely hear the words that were being used.
Amy's up next. She says, Joy, you need to learn how to lick a pie. Christy, you need to settle your ass down. And whore, you have no respect for WWE. You know shit about wrestling, and having a dick in your mouth has nothing to do with wrestling, biatch. It's like, fucking...
I loved it.
The censors were like a second too late on biatch. You heard that word clear as a day. And how have they not gone back and sorted that shit out?
Well, they don't really consider bitch a swear word, do they?
No, well, not now, but they tried then, because the censor tried, but the censor was a second too late. Like, she was far too quick for him. Carmella's turn. She says Amy tried out for Playboy and they laughed. Joy, she says she's look at a great role model for her kids, shaking your fat ass on TV. And then she hopes Christy wins. Like, so Christy must be the only one that's not bullying her backstage.
Oh.
Until Christy's turn. She says, Joy, shaking, is that all you can do? She asks Amy if she's been sucking on lemons because her mouth looks like a fish. And then Carmella, oh, Carmella, you cum burping gutter slut.
Great insult.
Christy then does the splits to end the segment.
Michael, she's going to come down on all of us.
Cum burping gutter slut. Wonder why that's never been used again.
Oh, I've heard that plenty of times.
Is that how people describe you on a Saturday
night? Sunday.
Sunday afternoon. Michael, how many mavens for the Diva?
Okay, so the Maven scale is going a bit different this time. We're going with which one made me laugh the hardest. And it was Christy that made me laugh the hardest with cum burping gut slut.
Cum burping gut slut. I don't know how much I'm going to have to censor out of this.
But I did like Amy's shoot. Fuck all about wrestling and having a dick in your mouth has nothing to do with real wrestler.
Oh, that was pure shoot, and I couldn't agree anymore. These divas, fucking hate Carmella. Because
Stacey even called the referee out.
Just in case it kicks off. Up next then, Michael. Kane, he drags Lita to the ring. As they walk in past Trish, she says, look at you, like a proper husband, even taking the trash out. It looks like Kane's pissed, but he goes, I quite like that one. Looking touche, Trish. I like that one.
He's like, hey, that was good.
And then Jim Ross, he thanks all the bands who gave their songs to the Diva Search. And then Kane comes out with Lita, who brings out a wedding present. Pat Hardy, Nat Hardy, Rat Hardy and Fat Hardy. The brothers of Matt version 1, it seems.
See, when he said, I've got a surprise for you, I've got some of Matt's family, I was like, fuck off, Jeff's not back.
Or at least it was could have been the real Daddy Hardy. But oh no. Fat Hardy for me. I'm surprised they didn't go with a Meth Hardy. But it's a bit too early yet, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think Meth is as popular in 2004 as it is
2010
nowadays.
Later though, after Kane beats up all the little midgets and the smaller members of the Hardy family, Lita then gives Kane his wedding present. It's a match at Unforgiven against the returning Shawn Michaels. So Lita suddenly turns into fucking Bischoff and she's booking shit round here. But Michael, that is another confirmed match for Unforgiven. Shawn Michaels on the return against Kane. Blood feud.
Well, yeah, this one is a blood feud.
Blood
Shawn
feud.
Michaels going to be coming back wanting that redemption against the man who put him on the shelf.
Up next, Chris Benoit versus the Nature Boy, which again is a main event in any fucking era, especially like WCW.
Tell you, WCW is running wild on Raw this month.
Wild. Benoit with Flair in the sharpshooter, but here comes Batista for the save. Hits a big Batista bomb onto Benoit as JR over and over and over is trying his best to put over now that Batista's an animal. Triple H has mentioned Batista's an animal. I wonder if Batista's going to be called the Animal.
I reckon they're going to have nicknames like that, or very similar at least. And so does this mean we may be getting Benoit versus the Animal on pay-per-view?
Quite possibly.
Looks like they're going that way.
Quite possibly. Up next, highlight real time. And Chris Jericho with his guest Edge. He calls Edge out, but here comes Edge all injured. And he says he's no longer able to compete. Edge offers his hand and says once they're back fit, they'll go again. But all of a sudden, Captain Charisma shows up, beats on Jericho. Edge and Christian, they kind of lock eyes. And it's like, oh, the commentators are even like, oh, is he going to go after Edge? But Edge is kind of like a heel. And Christian goes to work on Jericho. It's been a while since we've seen Christian because of his back injury. Obviously, Tonko's had to be the bodyguard for Trish. But yeah, Captain Charisma is back. I'm so happy with this. I want to see Christian and Edge as a tag team again. I know we don't get
Hell
that, but
yeah.
that's what I want to see.
An Edge and Christian reunion. I mean, Christian sneaking up behind, that stinks. But then at the same time, I would say it reeks.
Reeks of what, Michael?
Reeks of awesomeness.
Up next, Divas time. Trish and Gail versus Victoria and Nydia. You use your diva bollocks. Gail has Victoria locked up, but here comes the mystery woman stumbling out, distracts Gail. Victoria rolls her up for the win, and we're still getting Jerry and JR going, who's this? Well, we know who it is, but who is it?
Gail with some interesting submissions lately.
Gail's class.
That modified sharpshooter.
Yeah, oh, it's brilliant. It was like it was like a bit of a Texas cloverleaf at the same time, and the legs
Kind
were
of like the what Paige used to do, but without the arm hook.
yeah, the Page fucking Turner, not the Page Turner. What did they call
PTO.
it? That's it. Yeah.
Please turn over.
Yeah, definitely. We see Bischoff, he announces next week on Raw, it'll be Randy Orton versus Kane. And then JR and Jerry, they confirm for Unforgiven, it'll be Benoit and Regal going up against the boys. Evolution's own Ric Flair and Dave Batista.
I did like how Grisham just, at the start of that segment, though, just said, how's your foot doing?
Well, he was like, I drop a fucking sledgehammer on the cunt.
He was showing concern for his manager.
Absolutely. Up next, main event time. No DQ. Triple H versus Eugene. Poor Master Eugene, he's gonna die. Hunter, he can't. I won't say he absolutely batters Eugene, but he batters Eugene. We've seen him batter Eugene worse. Eugene
Yeah, we're going to see that in a bit.
Yeah, Eugene does get a few spots in. Like I love him giving the bird before he goes for the stunner. Hunter, he went for a pedigree. Well, he got a sleeper hold on. He stopped the ref counting. He went for a pedigree, stopped the count. Out comes Sledgy, but here comes Randall. Big sledge shot to the gut from Randall. Big RKO. Here come Evolution, which they're very late coming out. Like they were late to react when Orton spat in Triple H's face. They're now late to react coming out to save Triple H from an Orton beatdown with his sledgehammer. Very late at Ric Flair and Batista at the minute. Randy, he's fighting Evolution off with a sledgehammer, and he goes, "Oh, 1 minute, I've got an idea." He goes and gets Eugene, drapes him over Hunter. 1, 2, 3. Eugene gets the big upset with an assist from Randall Orton as Raw goes off the air.
So Triple H has been beaten in the record books by Eugene. Let that sink in.
Like that
Eugene has a victory over Triple H now.
1-on-1 on Monday Night Raw. Granted with an assist, but look at how many historic matches throughout the years they've won because of an assist.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I liked how, even though Eugene won the match, Orton's music started playing.
Oh, of course.
You gotta,
of course.
You gotta promote that new theme.
He's your world champion and he's a new theme tune, and there's no way Orton's going to stand there with bollocks out, giving it big fucking Eugene. So, Michael, before we get into the next SmackDown, are you ready for a little sexy little caption contest?
I am ready.
So, way back when, it feels like ages ago. It was like the end of September. End of September. I posted the picture and the caption was Ric Flair delivering quite the stiff-looking chop to one Randall Keith. You can't quite see his left nipple. It's kind of covered. So Mike's going to grab a few of his favourites from the replies on Facebook. I'm going to grab a few of mine favourites from the replies on Twitter. And then I'm going to leave it up to Mike to decide who wins the caption contest and a big bag of notes. Same as what I used to get. Do you know when I was a kid? If like you'd do a task for your mum or your dad or something. Like, oh, do I get anything for it? My dad used to always say, you get a big bag of fucking notes. That's what you get. So I'll let you kick things off, Michael.
Okay. So on Facebook we have Matthew Mikkel.
We always fuck this name up. I think it's Mikhailovich, but I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong.
Matthew Mikhailovich. Right here, Randy. Right here is the best spot to do coke off of a hooker's tit. Trust me, I would know.
Over on Twitter, so at BonzoE92. Mr. Orton, your right nipple appears to have exploded.
That's very similar to my next one. From Eddie Lanes. Damn, I just popped your implant, Randy.
At GA WrestleNut, that's some nasty sunburn. Let me just rub some lotion in it for you.
That was my next one as well. Raymond Roos. Hey, bro, you missed a bit of lotion. Let me rub it. I'm just for you.
People are very in sync. At Gold Phillip, Randy, this is for your own good. In the future, there'll be this dude named Walter, and if you want to live, I need to callous you now.
Back on Facebook, we have TJ Wilkerson. Dang, son, that titty's still hot.
A bit more sexual on Facebook. At HB from CHI, or it's from Chi, maybe. Here, I believe this is your nipple.
I like that one. Chris Birdwell says, now if I apply pressure right here, you will shit your trunks.
At Tim Wriggle, does it tickle if I rub your nipple like this?
Anicia Luther Ferguson says, damn, your fingers are freezing.
You fucking tell. And finally, Ashley Clement 8, which his name is Ashley Clements, so I think that's a great fucking use of the number 8 at the end of his at. It's not an at, is it? Was it a Twitter handle? I always call it, what's your at? He says, now Randy, I don't want you to take a receipt back on me. 16 years later, sorry Rick, time for a punt. So Michael, you decide then who wins this month's caption contest. Last month even.
I'm going to go with Matthew Mikhailovic.
Matthew, sorry,
we apologise for
we're going to fuck your name up. Yeah, we'll just call you version 1. And to remind everybody, what did Matthew make something say?
Right here, Randy. Right here is the best spot to do coke off a hooker's tits. Trust me, I would know.
So congratulations, version 1. You have become the, I don't know, champion of our caption contest. Until next time.
The reigning and defending.
That's it. Sometimes it's a caption contest, sometimes it's a name this tag team, because me and Michael have no creative talent whatsoever, and we leave it up to you, and then we make the jokes about it.
Hey, I have come up with a name for Renee Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki, haven't I? Ren and Ken.
Ren and Ken. But that's usually about how like we kind of go with it, like Scott and Rick, Rikishi and Scotty Tuati. Keep it simple here on that. We've been conditioned by Vince's last 10, 15 years of my wrestlers are just names. And that's right.
Yeah.
You're just conditioned. I blame Vince, you cunt. So then, moving on, Michael, it's Smack of the Down. We are the 2nd of September 2004. We are not live from Sacramento, California. Booker T, he comes out and he lets everybody know, before Michael Cole did, even though Michael Cole said, I'll let you know next week, that Booker T won over in Australia and he's now 2-1 up in the series.
And he's come out looking like a champion.
All suited up.
Yeah, he always looks like, dresses like he looks like a champion, does Booker.
I think that's the kind of the look that they're trying to go with. Oh, if you flip over with Raw with Randy Orton. Make it joint. Now you're a champion. I know obviously he came out in a suit anyway with Evolution. But they've got, it's giving that bravado in it. I think Jericho does it outstandingly well in a few years' time from our current timeline. When he's world champion, cuts his hair, and he's just this dickhead in a suit, which is a perfect heel champion.
But he's regal.
The Regal, a dickhead in a suit, and Booker T, as I agree, he always comes out in like gold attire though. If you look at like he's always like his trousers or his shirt. I don't know if I'm just getting like all my memories confused into one, but I always feel like Booker always goes that one step above when he comes out in street clothes. It's not just any old fucking suit.
It's not your latest t-shirt and a pair of jeans.
Well, high 2020. Rey Mysterio, though, he interrupts, and Booker, he picks a lovely line of pick on someone your own side. Rey and Booker, they go at it until Kenzo Suzuki interrupts. And according to Suzuki, which was a great line, Rey Mysterio, you liar. 619 American area code. You not American.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
RVD, though, he jumps Kenzo from behind, prompting Ray Dupree to attack. Teddy Long, though, player, holla, holla. He comes out, and we're not quite in that tag team era yet, but we're in the 6-man tag team era, player.
Hold on a minute, player.
As it's Booker, Kenzo, and Dupree against Ray, RVD, and John Cena.
So Booker's got to wrestle in dress shoes now.
Yeah, because it's happening, because that's what Teddy Long loves to do. It's happening right now. And it's not like, no, go to the back, we'll give you 20 minutes, get you sending your gear, come out with your entrance. No, it's happening now because it's the shock factor of a wrestler that's wrestling in non-wrestling gear.
But did you notice how all the faces all wore blue?
Smack of the down, bro.
It's like they knew that they'd be teaming up tonight.
It's
like, what colour are you wearing? What colour are you wearing? What colour are you wearing?
It's like somewhere they read it on a script. Ray, he's about to go for the 619, but Booker takes him out. Everyone then gets involved. Big fucking melee. It ends with RVD plancher onto Suzuki. It leaves Dupree alone to take Mysterio 619. Drop of the dime. 1, 2, 3. A fun little match.
Fun little opener, but I would have preferred to see just Booker versus Ray.
Yeah, just something a bit different, or even like Rene Dupree versus Ray. So that's how it breaks down. Like Ray comes out, Renee's the one that comes out. Or Suzuki versus Ray. Just something a bit different than what we've seen over. Because I feel like RVD, Rene Dupree, John Cena, Booker T, them four.
Ray's the new one in this mix.
Yeah, Ray and Kenzo. Because Kenzo's finally like got a bit of direction to an extent. Because before he was just coming out berating people and fucking off and having jobber matches against Scotty Tuati and that. He's got a bit of direction now, but yeah, I feel like this is doing is, I don't know if it's just me, but what I'm finding from this is that the mid card on SmackDown is very weak, very thin.
Yeah,
very thin, because this is it, and it has been. This is it for the last couple of months, and they've added, as we said, they've added Rey Mysterio, they've added Kenzo Suzuki, but the mid card. Yeah, but the mid card is thin, and Jesus, when Jesus stabs Cena, Jesus. We go backstage. Teddy Long is with Paul Heyman, and he's fining Heidenreich. He doesn't care where the money comes from. Heidenreich's going to go and rape a Cole, maybe get the money that way.
Well, he says if Heidenreich don't pay it, Paul's got to pay it, which technically, is your responsibility, Paul.
It's coming from somewhere. That's it. We see Jamie Noble. He confronts Billy Kidman about taking out Chavo. Kidman tells him, no, it's wrestling. You get hurt. Tough shit. It's like, it's not stopped him for. How many times, legit, non-kayfabe, have wrestlers come up to Kidman and said, that shooting star's a bit rough, pal? Because this can't be the first
That's
time
probably
ever.
where it's come from.
Yeah, but this can't be the first time ever that he's knocked somebody out with it.
Oh, definitely not.
Because he's like
Probably
we
not
mentioned,
text back out before. Yeah.
we've mentioned time and time before, like on WCW, on WWE, back in the Cruiserweight division, WWF even, with the Invasion, all that stuff. Like you said, with X-Pac, when he does a shooting star, it's not as graceful as Evan Bourne. It comes down at an angle. So are you telling me this is the first time
It's more
ever
like
hurt
Evan
someone?
Bourne 2020.
That poor cunt in your fucking debut. Poor bastard.
Of all times.
And no worse. In what would have been a mega spot, because Evans Bourne's shooting star is it's amazing to watch. But it were a perfect botch showing old Matthew at Botchamania sat on thinking, fucking hell, I don't even know work. And then we get another Carlito promo, but it was the same promo that we got last week, which I thought was quite bizarre.
Yeah, it's a bit lazy.
Yeah, very much so. It's like, oh, just in case you didn't see it, here's this new guy again. It's like, come on, put a bit of effort into it. Obviously, next week we get a new one and stuff, but just
That's repeated the week after that.
Yeah, just put a bit of effort into it, man.
There's plenty of different types of people in the Caribbean you can spit apples at.
Exactly, not just one person. Up next, non-title, Billy Kidman, Paul London versus Nunzio and Johnny Stamboli. FBI getting a SmackDown payday. You gotta love it.
They showed backstage Nunzio telling the Bull, if he does shooting star press, what do you do? Play dead.
The champs, they send Stamboli to the outside. Kidman goes up for the shooting star, but again, he can't do it. It's in his mind now. It's a mind fuck. He can't do it. London's begging him to do it, but Kidman climbs down, tags out. Nunzio surprises London with a backslide for the victory. After the match, we see why the match was so short, because it's all about Kidman. He leaves to the back, leaves London in the ring, and here comes Heidenreich. Destroys London, whoops him, that mean-looking shoulder breaker, which I think the added effect that doing it on a very small guy like Paul London, you're a big beast like Brock Lesnar 2.0.
Well, did you notice after he did the shoulder breaker, he started doing the Brock bounce?
Because he's Brock Lesnar 0.5. Wait till time when he starts fucking tagging with Animal and they make Legion of Doom 0.1. That's coming, son.
Or Animal.
Speaking of coming, absolutely. Speaking of coming, Big Show promo. He's back in 3 weeks and he's coming to SmackDown.
I thought he was on about Heidenreich staring straight at Cole.
Hello. We go backstage with Teddy Long. He's speaking with Brian Ebner, telling him to tell Heyman that he's not going to stand for any kind of behaviour. And then, in a very weird moment of continuity, Tori Wilson shows up and shits herself because she's just seen that Big Show's coming back. And last time she saw Big Show, he tried to fucking oik her off a balcony.
Understandably, she's upset.
Of all the wrestlers, of all the storylines, of all the times in wrestling, to use a bit of continuity, this is the time that they decide to use it.
Well, we got to keep putting Tori on TV, haven't we?
Because boobs.
Exactly. Because sex sells.
Absolutely. I quite liked how Teddy Long finished the segment by he said to Tori, ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string, because Big Show's undergone anger management.
Yeah.
Anger
that worked out
management.
great for Orton, didn't it? Only time that's worked out well for anybody.
It's Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Team Elmer.
Absolutely.
We'll get out.
100%. 100%. Dr. fucking Shelby or whatever they called him.
Yep, Dr.
Brilliant.
Shelby. Best anger management therapist.
They were the sort of segments that you wanted to tune in to watch to see what happened next. And
one of the worst years of wrestling.
Absolutely. It's fucking genius. And Daniel Bryan helps and Kane's just Kane. Kane's a fucking god.
Yeah.
Kane's brilliant. Up next, speaking of a god, a wrestling god, did you like that segue? JBL and Orlando Jordan come out as JBL joins the announce team for our next match, Orlando Jordan versus Charlie Haas, accompanied by his future wife.
And we've got JBL on commentary, so get ready for a lot of maggles.
Maggle! Haas eats the exploder, only gets a 2. He charges, but gets rammed into the exposed turnbuckle. Jordan covers for the victory. But as you said, most of the match was focused on Bradshaw on commentary. You can see why Bradshaw was used later on as commentary, because he's so comfortable. He's, with the mic and that.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, it just comes to him naturally, and it does with Bradshaw. And it goes on a bit later, like when I kind of start to. I think I just get a bit fucking conditioned and comfortable with Bradshaw and Cole as the tandem on SmackDown. Bradshaw was so knowledgeable about, he'd go, somebody do an armbar and he'd be like, I'll tell you a story about an armbar, Maggle. And he'll talk about a 1946 wrestler and stuff, and so knowledgeable on his wrestling. JBL, just to be a knobhead, he comes in, clothesline from Hell on Haas, because it's all about JBL.
He took his jacket off and rolled his sleeves up first, though.
Oh, you've got to, because you got to get yourself fucking ready. You don't mess. He's a gentleman, as JBL. We see highlights from WWE's tour of Australia, where, as we mentioned earlier, Booker went 2-1 up in the series. And up next, Dudley Boyz with Spike versus Billy Gunn and Thurman. Michael, I've got you a tag name. Ass plug.
I just loved how they both came out to Billy's theme as well.
Yeah.
Old stoic-faced Bob Holly coming out.
Jobber. From Brock Lesnar in main event of the Rumble to tagging with fucking Mr. Ass and coming out to his theme.
In less than a year.
How the mighty have fallen. Bubba gets the spine buster for 2, but Spike clocks Holly with the Cruiserweight title for the victory. It was a match to continue the storyline of Spike and the Dudleys just being cunts to beat everybody, and this time the cunts on the receiving end were Thurman and Billy. But what a waste!
Holly got beat by the Cruiserweight champion. I don't think anyone explained that to him.
From losing to Brock to losing to Spike.
Yeah.
In less than a year. Oh, Thurman, we fucking love you. Love you. We get more from the Caribbean. A brand new promo. He steals a random guy's cell phone and smacks him around for interrupting it.
Oh, I loved it. He takes his phone. He goes, hey, it's like, can't you see him on the phone?
Are you excited for Carlito? Did you like Carlito?
I like the gimmick.
Oh, did you not like the guy?
I never really saw him when he was on Raw. I saw him a bit on SmackDown, but it was just a blur. I can't really remember much.
I remember he had a weird tandem with Chris Masters at one point.
Yeah.
I feel like they were one of them eliminated the other one from a chamber.
Carlito eliminated Masters.
Yeah. Up next, Michael, main event time. 2 out of 3 falls. Angle, Guerrero. This one went under another one that fell under, just like the Raw's Iron Man with Benoit and Triple H. But I can understand why that went under the radar. But this also, for me, went under the radar. I had no idea that, even though this month feels like it's Eddie versus fucking Kurt forever. Fight forever.
Fight forever. You can mention it later.
So the first fall then, Eddie sunset flips Angle, pulls down Angle's pants.
Brilliant.
Angle charges, gets an arm drag twice. Angle though turns the tide by going low. Eddie responds by a blatant lobo to pick up the DQ to end the first fall, which I thought was great psychology.
Yes.
Because more by Kurt Angle. Because Angle was being dirty as fuck in the first fall and not getting caught. He were goading Eddie into being a cunt. And Eddie had to when Eddie got caught. I thought it was great psychology from Angle.
Going back to the Iron Man, it's very reminiscent of that. With Brock getting intentionally DQ'd.
Yeah, smashing him fuck with the chair and then
Angle made Eddie get DQ'd.
Yeah, going 3-1 up or something like that. Exactly the same. Second fall, Eddie misses a charge. Angle hits rolling Germans, goes for an angle slam, but Eddie reverses it into a roll-up because a 2 out of 3 falls match. I think there were one on Raw about 4 years ago, right? That I think Ziggler versus some fucker won 2-0, and it shocked fuck out of me because on a 2 out of 3 falls, you remember?
You never have
always
a straight
1-1. No, I said there was this one match. I think it was Ziggler versus somebody. People tell me if I'm wrong. I probably am. My memory's shot. But yeah, I'm sure he won 2-0 and I was like, what the fuck? No, you don't win 2-0 and a fucking 2 out of 3 falls. But yeah, so it's 1 apiece. Third fall, Angle, he delivers an angle slam, puts up the ankle lock. Eddie counters by rolling Angle into the referee. Eddie planches out, but Big Dog's there, grabs a chair. Eddie takes both guys out with a chair, pretends to be dead as the ref covers, which is one of them it's one of them more iconic moments because the ref recovers and we see that Angle's holding the chair. Angle arguing in innocence, which allows the Big Dog to whack Eddie to get Angle the victory, which, see, my memory is where my memory fucked about with me here because I thought that's where the ref DQs Angle and Eddie wins.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen.
My memory fucked up because I remember that scene of Eddie whacking Angle with the chair, Eddie on the floor, ref comes to, Angle's got the chair, ref is
then
like,
Eddie
what?
just posing, just waving at Angle.
Yeah, but my memory told me that was the DQ, but I'm fucking wrong again.
I don't remember Luther hitting him with the chair.
He's fucking Big Dog, mate. He strikes out of nowhere. Michael, I got a little bit of dirty dirt sheet news for you. Apparently, Mr. Heidenreich went a little bit crazy backstage and started punching himself.
What?
What? Basically, Heidenreich became very upset during his match against Scotty 2 on the August 29th episode of SmackDown in Bakersfield. Basically, Heidenreich was apparently angry at himself for making mistakes during the match. He apparently yelled profanity backstage, threw a massive tantrum, and started punching himself in the head. One source who witnessed Heidenreich's tantrum and went as far as saying he was punching himself in the head to the point where then he turned to ram his head into the locker, a la Goldberg, but a very cheap version.
What?
Apparently, everyone backstage, they tried their best to calm Heidenreich down. Vince McMahon talked to Heidenreich 2 days later and lectured him on how he has to be professional when backstage with the company.
2004 Lars Sullivan, it sounds like.
I could not believe he came back.
Oh, I could not believe it.
That blew me away.
But I was like, really?
Anyway, moving on then. The Go Home Show before Unforgiven, September 6th, 2004, Monday Night Raw. We are from the, I'm going to fucking absolutely butcher this, the K. Yeager Coliseum in Wichita Falls in Texas. I feel like I didn't butcher it in the slightest. Eric Bischoff, he's already in the ring, surrounded by a steel cage, and we found out tonight it's going to be Triple H versus Eugene, and if anybody tries to interfere, they will be immediately suspended.
So Eugene is going to die.
Get fucking hammered. Bischoff also makes the massive announcement that Edge's injury is actually legit and he's been stripped from the IC title. Christian interrupts, and it's so good to see him back. He demands that Bischoff hands over the IC title to him right now, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, another Christian title reign, I'll take it.
Yeah. Chris Jericho interrupts, and he demands that Christian faces him for the IC title tonight. Bischoff says it will happen, but not tonight. This is pay-per-view worthy, baby. And after a bit of back and forth, I was hoping IC title on a poll. We find out Unforgiven, which I'm already calling it, is going to be the match of the night. Christian versus Chris Jericho in a ladder match.
Yes, I would very much agree with that. At least it's not a no count-out match.
Fucking no count-out match. Up next, 8-man tag, Evolution with the Bell Ends. Oh, what a fucking merger. Going up against Benoit, Regal, Rhino and Tadges. Quite a fun little match to open the show. Well, the first match to open the show anyway. Benoit finishes Conway with diving headbutt sharpshooter combo. Multi-man matches are the thing at the minute in WWE, it seems.
Yes, a weaker starting with multi-mans.
With fucking everyone seems to six fucking man, 8-man. We'll have a 15-man next week.
20-man week after.
Evolution and Bell Ends and.
Well, we had 20-man other week when Randy won that Battle Royal.
Yeah.
That opened.
Oh, they love Battle Royals. That's just I think that's just been a WWE shtick for years and years. Can we think of a storyline to get a number one contender? No, but we can do a Battle Royal. That's it. No, I'm a big fan of your Battle Royals, but sometimes you can get a bit another, like the Divas on Raw Just Gone, Diva Battle Royal, fucking Lana giving a title shot. Have you heard though? Eva Marie's coming back, so we're gonna have Eva Marie as your champion on fucking Raw, and Lana's gonna champion SmackDown or vice versa.
Vice versa.
A new era for the women's. Yeah, but Eva Marie can't come back unless she's all blue everything. because all red everything on SmackDown just don't work.
Yeah.
But that could be the gimmick.
Well,
I hope so.
she got purple hair now.
I don't know. She's fit.
All purple everything.
It won't last long.
Don't.
No matter how hot you are, it won't last long. 100%. I'd like Kelly to come back though. She was hot stuff. Anyway, we're fucking digressing far too much into modern day wrestling. I'm giving away my gimmick. I watch modern day wrestling.
Don't break the gimmick, brother.
That's it. Todd Grisham, he interviews Randy Orton, who stumbles through a really bad interview. Apparently, he's going to make RKO the most 3 dominant letters on Raw. I'm sure that's his gimmick that he's still using now.
Yeah.
It's taking him how long to make these letters dominant? They should be dominant by now. It took him that fucking long. And we are still backstage, and we see Trish. She's making fun of Lita and a kid. She chases Lita off, but then runs into Nydia, who Nydia slaps Trish and throws a drink on her, and that leads to our next match: Trish versus Nydia. Trish gets the win with a chick kick. At least the Divas have got doing something.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything's got to revolve around Lita and the kid.
Yeah.
Because you had Victoria last week shouting at Bish, saying it can't happen before Triple H pushes him out. Maybe the week before, pushes her out of the way. Now you've got Nydia kind of defending Lita's honour again.
Why is everything all about Lita with the women? There's
she's
that many women that are that talented. They could have their own storylines.
Because it's fucking 2004. Because it's 2004.
We're allowed 2 women to have a storyline at a time.
And if they're having a fight, they're having a tag match.
Even though these 2 can't fight, they're having a storyline.
None of them can fight. Some of them can, right? Let's be right.
Jazz.
All jokes aside, Jazz is a beast. Gail Kim's a beast. Trish can go. Lita, if you ignore the botches and the sloppy moonsault, can go. She knows what she's doing. The rest, well, Molly Holly, she can go. Ivory doesn't do none of that anymore. She's now commentating and all that stuff and trying to get you to smack down your vote. But the rest, they can't fight. They can't go. So there's not much you can do with these. You've got to have, like Nydia. I don't think we've seen enough of Nydia yet to judge, but what we've seen is not great.
Well, she almost had a wardrobe malfunction.
That could be a finisher.
The wardrobe malfunction.
I'll get your tit out and roll you up. We go backstage. Triple H is preparing for Eugene and says this is just a preview of what he's going to do to Randy Orton, as it is time for our next match.
So, according to Triple H, a young lad with, I want to say, obvious learning difficulties.
Yep.
Is practice for a former US Marine who's also the youngest world champion in company history.
Have you not seen Eugene, though?
But that's what Triple H is saying.
Eugene can go. Yes, that's what he's saying. So up next it is cage match time. Eugene versus Triple H. Triple H jumps in from behind, shoves Eugene into the cage. Eugene, though, goes mental and destroys Hunter. Going in the corner, goes for the door. Triple H, though, gets him back, finally gets the pedigree on, goes to the door, but then he goes, closes the door and comes back into the ring and batters Eugene for the next 30 seconds. We're now at the top rope. Triple H drives his knee into Eugene's arm and Eugene is fucked. Like, he's proper selling his arm injury. Eugene is in a knot. So Triple H casually walks out of the cage. After the match, Eugene is trying to crawl towards the door. Triple H makes his return, gets his arm, and it did look gnarly. Slams his injured arm into the cage door, and thus ending the ballad of Eugene and Alan.
That was just a brutal beatdown in the end. He absolutely murdered him.
Because that's the end of the feud. That's it. Game over for Eugene.
Well, especially with bad arm now.
That's it, he's fucked. He's fucked. It's a decent way to write a guy off TV, though, because it did look nasty, especially when he smashed Cage into it. It did look nasty. It's not like a guy go through a table and then sell a fucking injury for weeks and weeks and weeks. This is something Eugene could sell for he could get a good couple of months run out of this. Joe wanting to wrestle, and I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't remember. Like, my memory on this has absolutely no recollection of what happens going forward with Eugene, so I can't wait to find out. We go backstage, and Kane is ordering Lita to accompany him to ringside and tells her about the time he crushed Shawn Michaels' trachea and made him choke in his own blood. I love when Kane talks sexy to his wife.
Yeah, that was only 2 months ago. Feels like it's been about 16 years.
It does feel a long time since Michaels. I kind of was getting a bit tiresome of Michaels, but it just feels like Michaels has been away for a long time. Kane, he promises to do the same to Randy Orton this evening. Up next, Chris Jericho versus Tyson Tomko with Christian. Jericho, he knocks Christian off the apron, turns right into Tyson's driver for the upset loss, which Tyson Tomko getting a victory over fucking Jericho. Quick. And then in a great moment, Christian and Tomko set up the ladder over Jericho's body for a 5-second pose.
Tomko should have been holding that ladder. Health and safety first.
But yeah, Tomko getting the clean victory over Jericho, obviously outside shenanigans with Christian, but
wins
1, 2, 3 after his big driver finish. What do you reckon to how many mavens for Tomko's finish?
Better than that fucking shit Big Boot he used to do. It was a decent move. It's like, remember that old neckbreaker Tess used to do?
Yes. See, I was a fan of Tess's old pump handle slam. That was the finish that you were
just Test.
If Tess got that on you, I miss him. Miss him so much.
All his moves were great.
So much. It won't be long till he's back, but then it also won't be long till he's gone again.
And then he'll be back, but
and then gone again.
He'll be gone.
Michael, Diva Bollocks time. Stacey's still your MC because even Coach can't give a fuck anymore. Like last week, he had a reason he were fating. This week, nah, Stacey, crack on, love. You're fittest one out there. You'll get on with it.
He's managing Bellends now, isn't he?
Well, that's it. He's had to give up his
He's gone from
license.
Bollocks to Bellends.
He's had to give up his announcer's license, and he's now got a manager's license. Gone from the Bollocks to the Bellends. Oh dear. Oh dear. So, tonight's contest is a good old-fashioned arm wrestling contest, with the winner being able to cover the remaining competitors in what looks like a tub of cold chili.
I think
because
it's just,
we're in Texas, baby.
Edit Godwin's old slops from Warehouse.
Yeah, and a bit of Scran from Canteen. Just all mixed
Godwin's
together.
shit.
Up first, it's Christy versus Amy, and Christy destroys her quick time. Next up, Joy versus Carmella. Carmella wins quite comfortably, so it comes down to Carmella, not that one, versus Christy TNA, and Christy fucking hammers her. Like, Christy's strong as fuck.
Beast Christy Heavy.
And then she goes to throw chili on everybody. Did you notice, though, that not one of them had it poured over their head?
Yeah. But
Like,
Amy did willingly take it on the tits, I noticed.
I would have ate that, no danger. Even if it were cold, give me a bit of garlic bread and we're in. To be fair, great bit of cheese on the top of it, bit of garlic bread and we're in.
That's it.
Stacey, though, she lines them up for tonight's elimination, and this week's victim is Amy. She's got to be thinking, they could have fucking eliminated me before the chili.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a bit of a...
The wankers.
Bit of a kick in the teeth, that.
But yeah, Amy, obviously, we'll see her again. Let's see. We'll see. She's not gone forever, unlike some, like Tweety. We will see her again. We see a promo, Michael. Shelton Benjamin is on his way back. Like, I didn't realise fucking he'd gone. I just thought they weren't booking him at minute. I didn't realise he'd actually gone. And they're doing it, he's gone enough where he's coming back.
Yeah, I'm sure we saw him a couple of weeks ago.
Does this mean he's coming back because he's getting rid of the singlet and just going with the pants?
I think he does, yeah.
I think that's the return, isn't it? Yeah, the blue and gold pants. That's the return.
Because of what comes next month.
Yeah. With Taboo Tuesday.
That's the one.
Next week, it's the return of Brawl for All. As your remaining divas, they're going to have a fucking boxing... Michael, this is going to be amazing. Amazing. They're going to have a boxing match. One of them's going to knock fuck out of Carmella.
I just want to see that, to be honest.
Playmate of the year with a broken nose, I don't think so. It's going to be fucking brilliant. Up next, Randy Orton versus Kane with his wife. Orton, give over hitting that mid-card flying cross body. You're world champion now, son. Get that out of the repertoire.
It don't even work because he eats a big boot after.
Yeah, Kane just shrugs it off, grabs a chair. Later, though, she won't let him use it. Orton gets up and delivers a low blow for disqualification, but it's a reverse, Dusty finish reverse, as actually Bischoff and Triple H both come out. It's like Triple H's idea to begin with. Bischoff cuts him off. And he's like, I know what you're going to say, and I like the idea. This match continues in a cage. So 2 cage matches
To be fair,
on Monday Night Raw.
It's only fair, to be honest. Alan was in a cage match earlier, and he's got the injured ribs because he's got the tape around his belly.
And so Orton's got to get whooped by Kane.
Because he's not got any tape around his belly.
Time for the cage. So the match breaks down. Orton goes up top. Kane catches him, throws him halfway across the ring. Orton grabs a chair, smacks Kane into next week. This gives him enough time to hit the RKO and escape the ring. But after the match, the boys, they're out. They throw Orton back in the ring. And Orton, though, fends everybody off with the chair, climbs out of the cage to escape a big beatdown. So Orton's losing on Sunday then, yeah?
You'd think so, yeah.
Don't spoiler it. Half of me tells me he loses because he only defends it once and loses. But other half tells me he wins, so don't spoil it.
I'm not spoiling it.
I know he loses. I know he loses. But that was Monday Night Raw then, Michael. How many Mavens? How many Mavens for the go home?
I love the escape out of cage at the end. Everyone coming through, but he's just that quicker, that much quicker. He can get away, slither away like a fucking viper or something.
Which means he's going to lose on Sunday. So overall, then, how many Mavens for the go home show, and how many Mavens in total for Monday Night Raw?
So I'll give that one a 2.5.
I'm giving that one a 3. Quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed the 8-man to begin with. I quite enjoyed the fact we had 2 cage matches. Triple H was there. We had Diva Bollocks, and I'm quite enjoying. And I don't even know how it's done this to me, but I can't wait for the next week's Diva Bollocks. Diva Bollocks has got me excited about Monday Night Raw. The Rock helps in a massive way, in a massive help. But I'm excited about Diva Bollocks. I think more because Carmella's a cunt.
You just want to see it get humiliated or something.
Are you ready then for the final smack of the down of the Unicycle to Unforgiven 2004?
Holla, holla, holla.
We are not live from the Tulsa Convention Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Was Tulsa not the place that Chandler had to fuck off to work doing Friends?
It was, yes.
I thought it was.
And then he got caught watching shark porn.
And smoking. Teddy Long is out to announce that because the big dog interfered last week, Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero will meet once again this evening, this time in a lumberjack match.
But Angle still won though. Angle still won the match.
Fuck yeah, we're getting so much Eddie. This is the month of Eddie versus Angle. It's fucking brilliant.
It's like, well, this is the only program we're going to have, so fuck it. Let's milk it.
Absolutely. Opening contest, non-title, JBL versus Charlie Haas. Now, one thing we forgot to mention last week with the Orlando Jordan versus Charlie Haas SmackDown match was Bradshaw was claiming on commentary that if Charlie Haas would have won, he would have offered him a WWE title opportunity. So he lost, so he's offering him an opportunity to wrestle with greatness. Instead, non-title. Orlando, he's after a piece of Miss Jackie, which distracts Haas. Bradshaw, he jumps on Haas from behind for the victory. It was a basic match. I quite like the continuity because of what happened last week with him saying on commentary I'd face him and stuff. But yeah, it was just a bit of fun for Bradshaw and Orlando to fuck about with a mid-card.
Yeah, and OJ to stalk another victim.
Absolutely. After the match, JBL, he praises the US Olympic team minus the men's basketball team. They must have done shit at the Olympics. And says that Undertaker, he won't get another shot at WWE title. Instead, JBL will give him a funeral because Undertaker's career is dead. JBL, he reverses out a hearse, which prompts Holla Holla Player to come out. And he says Undertaker will get another title shot. At No Mercy, JBL, you will go one-on-one with The Undertaker in a last ride match. Which sounds like the stipulation is you have to beat your opponent and throw him in the hearse and the hearse drive away. Very similar to your ambulance.
It's an ambulance match, but it's Taker's gimmick.
Love it. Absolutely.
No submissions, no pinfalls, just a lonely hearse.
Absolutely. Up next, we get a recap of Kidman's second-guessing himself last week and the effect on Paul London's shoulder. As it is time for your tag titles, I knew it were coming soon. It's Billy Kidman, Paul London, defending against, spoiler alert, your new tag team champions, Ren and Ken. Michael, Fifi watch.
Well, I thought Hiroko was just going to hold Fifi through the match. She shouldn't do fuck all else. she might as well have just gone to fucking Batwit Dog. Not just stand there.
And do
Standing, you said.
fuck all. Paul London, he clears the ring. Kidman, he sets up for the shooting star on Suzuki, but he still can't do it. Instead, he tags London, but this time he walks away. Dupree, he nails London with a Minoku driver. Suzuki finishes him with the STF claw. Winners, as I said, your new tag champions, Ren and Ken. After the match, Suzuki, Hiroki, and Renee, they all do the French tickle, and Taz fucking wets himself.
Why are heels acting like baby faces? Almost happy tears, hugging each other. Like,
Because this is Mr. America, is Suzuki. And it's a face-heel thing with his sort of... It's a bit weird because I laugh at Kenzo Suzuki, so I don't see him as a heel. I see him as a funny R-Truth-esque gimmicky face. And
yes, R-Truth and Corbin rolled into one.
it could be the turn. Rene Dupree could be the next up-and-coming face to obliterate the mid-card on SmackDown. You never know. Spoiler alert, it done happen.
Red versus Jesus.
Oh, fucking yes. Yes.
Red versus Ocean.
With the knife on a pole. We see the paramedics, they're helping London to the training room. London sees Kidman, though, getting dressed, and he wants an answer, but Billy just walks out on him. Is this the end? Is this the end of SmackDown's hottest new tag team?
TTD. Tag Team Dissension.
We fucking love it. Teddy Long, we see him running into Booker, who's ready to go out and train for next week. Instead, though, holla, player. Booker, you're going one-on-one as a lumberjack with all the other lumberjacks for tonight's Angle versus Guerrero match. Just let the cunt go home and train. He's got a big match coming up.
Yeah.
He's 2-1 in the series.
He tells him to go get changed. What's wrong with what he's wearing?
Because you're a lumberjack, son, in that ring here, pronto. Up next, it's Spike Dudley versus Rey Mysterio. Rey sets up for the 619, but Bubba breaks it up. And the Dudleys, they're about to take Rey out, but Hardcore Holly and Rob Van Dam make the save. Little Nate restarts the match. Holla, player. It's a 6-man. So, Billy Gunn's not good enough yet.
Well, why have Billy when you've got Thermal Thurman here?
I'm thinking more RVD. Where's RVD suddenly pop up because he's Ray's pal?
Ray's pal, isn't it?
Ray's pal. That should have been
Bob got
Billy.
beat by the Cruiserweight champ last week.
Yeah, but where's Billy? Where's Billy Gunn's redemption?
It's like, you lost, you saw it.
The match breaks down and we get a hot tag to Furman. I never thought I'd ever say that. Furman, he runs wild through the Dudleys, but Spike, of all people, delivers a spear. Spike to Furman, speared him. Ooh, RVD, it's Devon with the 5-star. Spike and Holly wind up together. Holly nails him with an Alabama slam. Ray finishes with a springboard leg drop. Great match. It got a lot of fun, but Holly could have got the win with the Alabama. We could have gone 619 into the Alabama.
I was more surprised how hot that tag was that he'd got.
Oh, it was hot.
Thermal Thurman.
Thermal Thurman. It was hot.
That's his new gimmick. That needs to be his new gimmick.
What, come out with a water bottle?
No, the thermos.
Oh, yeah, and it needs to be on heat. Fuck's sake. We see Josh Matthews. He asks Kurt Angle if he'll use the same controversial tactics that he did last week. Angle tells Matthews to check the record book because a win's a fucking win. And then we see...
beat Eddie 2-1.
That's it. And then we see John Cena and he's on about getting all seriousness for the US title. And, Michael, we find out that the deadline to join Tough Enough has been extended due to overwhelming demand. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Usually, the extended deadline due to, like, poor ticket sales.
Yeah.
Or, like, lack of anybody giving a fuck.
Yeah.
So...
Not. Too many people want to be a part of it.
Too many people want to be a part of it. So, if you also want to be part of it, along with too many people, the deadline has been extended. We then see another promo for Carlito, Caribbean Cool, as he lets us know that he loves the beach, but he hates kids. So, is he a babyface or is he a bastard?
Well, I think he's a bastard because being a bastard, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And then we see Paul Heyman. He tells Long that he's sick of paying fines for Heidenreich. So he gives Heidenreich the night off. Long says, since Heyman's man has the night off, Heyman will have to face an announcer. Long assures him, though, that it's not Taz, so Heyman thinks it's Michael Cole. Then Michael Cole goes wild, shoots on Heyman. Come on then, motherfucker, bring it! I'll fucking smash your face in.
They want to kill each other.
It's fucking brilliant. But no, it's not Michael Cole. It's SmackDown's #1 announcer. And do you know what the thing is? Out of all the announcers, I was thinking it was going to be Josh Matthews.
Yeah. I thought the exact same thing.
I did not think of Funaki whatsoever.
Co-star of Tough Enough 1.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be Matthews who would come out and kick the fuck out of Heyman. And it'd be the breakout for Matthews' WWE career as a wrestler. But nope, it's Funaki. But wait, he batters Heyman for a second before Heidenreich, Heidi Ho Heidenreich. He comes out, batters Funaki. Heyman covers, counts the pin himself, because fucking why not? And then Heyman, he bitch slaps Michael Cole, which was brilliant. Cole goes for Heyman, but Heidenreich gets out the ring, and Michael Cole fucking shits a brick, and he runs off shield style through the crowd. Michael Cole, he cautiously returns to the announce booth. He's like, is he gone? But is he fucked off?
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Is it still here?
As it is time for our main event, it is Lumberjill match. Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero. The Lumberjills are everyone that you've seen tonight, plus a few more jobbers. The big dog, he immediately inserts himself into the match by grabbing Eddie's ankle. Ooh-ah. Eddie gets a dropkick off a press. Angle rolls out the ring. The Dudleys, though, they keep Angle safe and then rolling back into the ring. Triple verticals. Eddie goes up, but Angle's distracted the ref long enough for the big dog to crotch Eddie and hit the fucking big dog. Angle suplexes. 2 count, very close. Angle slam, 2 count, very close. Eddie reverses a roll up. 1, 2, no, fucking as close as you could possibly get. Eddie goes for the ankle lock on Angle, but Luther, he's had enough. This triggers a huge brawl. All the Lumberjacks get involved. Everyone starts smashing fuck out of each other. Well, it's the Big Show. As Big Show makes his return, and what's that haircut? Oh my God, what's that haircut?
It looks like Husky Harris is eating a Barrio mushroom.
Yeah. But yeah, Big Show, you could have got an haircut, mate, before you return. Like, he's like, he must have had it cut, right, a couple of times in the months that he's been off TV. So, honestly, just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to let the cunt grow out. But it's not grown out long enough for them when they've made the call and said, right, Paul, it's time to come back on TV.
And he's looking like a rounder version at 99 Big Show. He's
not been the greatest, has it, at this era of dropping it and managed to keep it dropped.
Not yet.
Because, like, Big Show 2020, man's a beast. Man's perfected the art of losing it and keeping it off when you're that big. Because I imagine it's not fucking easy in the slightest.
Get a kick out. Look at Eddie drop top. Beautiful. And Eddie into the ankle lock. Into the ankle lock. Into Kurt Angle's own submission move. Is Kurt going to tap? I don't know. Look at Luther Reigns. Oh, there's Cena. Now John Cena. And now Booker T. And oh my God. Here we go. Hell is broken loose on SmackDown. It's breaking down in Tulsa, baby. Scheduled to be here for 2 weeks. Oh my God! Big Show is on the scene. A 500-pounder is cleaning house. What is Big Show's? Oh, what is he doing here? Oh, what a right hand! Bodies are just flying everywhere. Can you believe it? I could see him larger than life itself. Look out, Hardcore. Uh-oh, what goes up, Cole? Choke slam! Let's come down! Devon Dudley! SmackDown superstars are falling hard with one arm! Wow. Tossed over the top rope! The boss! Okay, that's right, Spike. Uh-oh. Oh, the boss made his match, I think. Spike. Oh, my God. Watch out! Thanks for coming. Oh, my God. The Big Show! Cena slamming! John Cena must have been 10 feet in the air! Right, oh, man, Mysterio got smashed. Can you believe Big Show is a one-man wrecking machine? Now Haas. Oh, a choke slam by the Big Show to Haas. Look at Van Dam now. Oh, what a right hand. The Big Show. Big Show has cleared out all 20 lumberjacks. I never saw nothing like this. I've never seen anything like this before. This man is on a rage, and he's in a ring.
But yeah, Big Show's back. Are you excited?
I thought I was back in the day. But he was very slow.
Well, he batters everyone. Heels, faces, big dog angle. They all get some as SmackDown goes off the air. So, Michael, that was Smack of the Down. How many Mavens for this episode and how many Mavens overall? And finally, who won?
So, I do give this one 2.5 as well.
I agree.
But Raw wins.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Raw wins the build.
Don't get me wrong. As always, the pay-per-view that's building up always seems to win. But I did quite enjoy Eddie Guerrero versus Angle 55 times over the last month.
Yes.
Did, and I will forever and a day enjoy that. But on that note, Michael, it's been one hell of a long episode. We apologise and we thank you if you've listened all the way through. Michael, let them know where they can find us on all forms of social media.
So on all forms of social media, that's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that jazz. It's at Our Era Podcast.
That is it. And until next time, it'll be time for Unforgiven 2004. Randy Orton, world title on a pole. I've been Dave. That's been Big Sexy. Until Unforgiven.
Holla, holla, holla.
Player, player, player. 6-man.
You're a burping gutter slut.
Ruthless aggression.
It's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. A predator smells fear, I smell a lot. My competitors flex here. When they smelled I was hot, I want it all. Excess, the sex, much success, stress us. I want it all, no less. So come on.